Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. It is nice to see you all here again. Why everybody was making faces when I went over there? Like,
I was not making a face. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was fun. That's
I,
why.
I looked away. I was looking at
How
the
Not
screen.
allowed to
dare
have fun
you,
on this
Moon?
podcast. Come
how
on.
dare you,
No,
Moon?
never.
I
Never.
dare. That's how.
Mm.
Dare.
By the
Dare
way,
to
guys,
believe you can survive.
By the way, guys, it is official. The YouTube channel and the logo have been built for the Technical Difficulties podcast. We will be putting stuff together for that very, very soon. We've got some topics we're going to cover. I am not going to talk about Attack on Titan at all. I'll let people who
Good.
actually...
I didn't watch it.
I'll let people who actually watch that cover it if they want to.
I have three friends, and they're all like, "Oh, the last episode made me cry," and I'm sitting here like, fantastic.
The latest I've heard about
Glad
Attack on Titan recently is that the final season, whatever, reminded them of like how Red Dead Redemption 2's epilogue. You know, it's kind of like that length or whatever. Just kind of kept going.
Oh, well, I mean, it's over.
Not to shit on Red Dead or anything, but
I'm sure there's a lot to close out, but I haven't seen all the shows, so.
As far as I
haven't watched
understand,
any
they
of it.
just dragged it on, so, you know.
So it overstayed
like,
its
this is
welcome.
a really popular show.
They
Attack
used
on
final
Titan.
for
Why are we editing this?
They used the word final for 4 seasons of content, basically.
The final
season,
part,
the
the
third
finale,
act,
part
the
4.
final act season of 4th.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesus.
Why?
Attack on Titan, the finale.
Oh
part
shit! Oh shit!
5.
Yeah, that's right. The Slime OVA dropped. I haven't watched that yet. No.
Oh,
no, I haven't.
I need to
Sweet.
watch that at some point.
We'll have to talk about that at
Same.
some point. Yeah.
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 Ugh.
Probably next Anime Church.
No. No, the whole reason I did the podcast is so we could review shit and do whatever. Like,
Oh, true.
Oh.
so,
What days are the
That would be
podcasts going to be
fun.
happening?
Oh, I don't know yet because I'm not necessarily planning on doing a bunch of live content. I was thinking,
Oh, that's right. It's going to be pre-recorded. Okay.
well, not everything. We might do some live stuff on the on there. It's like
Okay.
it's like breaking live stuff, but like we call it a podcast, but it's kind of a review show, stuff like that. Like if we do a podcast, like an actual live podcast, we could do it that way. But honestly, pre-recording is the way to go. I will ask that you edit your own shit if you're doing your own solo video, because screw you, I'm not doing that.
That's
you
fair.
guys, Fat Dog doesn't pay me enough money to do your audio and video editing for everything. I will never have
Wait, we
time,
get paid for this?
I will never have time to abridge again if I am like literally, if we have like 5 different hosts and I have to video and audio edit for everybody. No, that will never, ever, ever be a thing. Oh, yeah. So my whole thing is basically this. If we do actually do a podcast and we record it, and it's basically going to be in Audacity, everybody's going to record in Audacity. And,
Okay.
well, or whatever whatever your recording program of choice is, and then you're going to save it as a WAV file after you've cleaned it up. After you've cleaned it up, you do your own damn cleanup. And then you send
Clean
it to me,
shit.
and then you send it to me, and like we go through it. Yeah, I time everything out, cut out like little bits that we want to not have in there. If we're not doing it live, if we're doing it live, then good. I don't.
Yeah,
care.
no, I'm not. Because if we're doing it recorded, like I'm gonna set up like the blanket and everything, and try to like mitigate the background noise and all that, and then I'll probably send it like edited how I would do an audition or whatever, and then if like if there's something you need me to like, I need you to do this, it'll be a good learning experience for me because then I'll know, I need to do that for that stuff.
I don't know how many people are necessarily gonna be jumping in on the show, but I know that some people
I don't know if I'm
will
gonna
have
be either. But...
Yeah, I haven't even started picking out people yet, so it's just kind of it is what it is, you know. Oh Jesus! Hang on, that's what happened. Something
Jesus.
shorted over there. Okay.
Oh, short. That's not good.
There we go. No, it's not bad. It just means that the lights and the fans had some issues. for a moment there.
Yeah,
And now I turn the fan lights back on. They work. The fans work just fine. All right. So, that having been said, the channel is up. Where be the art streams? I'm not in charge of that, so I don't know.
No, totally different thing.
Yeah, art streams typically will be on Wednesdays. If you want to ask when and not where, because I don't know where, but when is Wednesday. If you want to know where and all that stuff, if you're like, hey, what's been happening with the art streams? Why aren't they happening? You're asking the wrong group of people, buddy.
Yeah, that would be Tony and Asha, if I remember.
No, Tony and Miki. Specifically
Miki? Oh.
Miki does the art streams.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought Asha does the video game stuff. Never mind.
Yeah, Asha does the gaming content.
Sorry about that.
Miki does the art streams.
I was half right at least. Tony is one of them.
Ooh!
Ooh! Well, I don't...
Ooh.
I just
Look,
feel like Dark Helmet and Spaceballs. At high noon, there will be our prisoners. Ooh! Hoopst. All right. Anyway, that's guys. If you're coming here to ask about other streams, I can't really help you unless it's a stream that I run. So Slime light novel streams and Anime Church are the two that I am currently in charge of. All the others, I can't tell you when or where that they're necessarily happening unless there's a schedule down below. If there is, then yay. If not, I don't know what to tell you all that much. I only know the information that I am given. I know that, pardon me. I know that Saturday afternoons, Royce and Fenris are doing their Gundam builds. They're doing those streams. So if you want to watch them build Gunpla and then talk about Gundam with them, that's happening every other Saturday from my understanding. I think Asha streams Wednesdays and Thursdays gaming content. I don't necessarily know.
There really should be like a stream schedule.
Guys,
on
here's the other
Discord.
thing. Here's the other thing. If you want to know what's going on, join our Discord. If you want to know when certain things are happening, join our Discord. There's a thing called streaming announcements where we announce that we are live. So, well, you are surrounded by a bunch of assholes.
There we go.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, assholes.
How dare you? That's Mr. Asshole to you, sir. You, the chat, and look pointing at you.
Oh, okay. Well, keep firing, assholes. So...
Understood, sir.
That's how I got here. You got here from the Discord.
Yeah,
all right. Then, yeah, just keep an eye on the streaming announcements. You'll typically know. Welcome to the party, pal. That's all I can say. Contrary to popular belief, I don't run Fat Dog. I'm not Tony.
You're not the other half of Tony?
I mean, okay, that part sounds wrong. I'm the other half of Fat Dog. Tony's other half is Asha.
Specifically the lower half.
Heyo.
God damn it. Here's the thing. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if Asha's going to be mad at you saying that, or if she or if they're going to be like
these, so...
or if Asha's going to be like, "You're right.
I meant you.
I'm not the lower half of Fat Dog."
Oh, it's too late. Oh, God.
No, that would be a good thing, though. That means you're carrying this team.
No, the shoulders do that. I just take us places. Which is accurate.
Well, you're the legs.
Hey, I said I would take this channel places. I never said they would be places we wanted to be.
I never said they were good places.
I never specified which places.
I never specified where.
All right, anyway. Jesus Christ, people.
Yeah, we do have a lot to read today, apparently.
I gotta close the door and start us off with, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation. Everybody wave your arms around like the wacky waving inflatable arm.
I can't do that. You know that because I'm gonna lose my headset. I can't do it too much.
Then
Should
do
do it
it like
anyway.
this.
Should vote
Take
to the
it
bit.
off your
Okay,
ears.
fine,
Put
but
it
then
on
I
your
can't
neck and
hear you. I
then
don't know
do
when to
it.
stop.
Now we got to do it again so that you can join. Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation,
Oh,
There you go.
turn that up.
please
There we
open
go.
your holy books of Rebruism,
Good.
Volume 13,
I don't have that many fingers.
Chapter 4, page 336 of the physical volume. For
I don't have that many
Kindle
fingers
readers, Deacon Shim has your back.
385, my lord. 86%.
And for those of you that are using Bookwalker, I believe the Reverend Lunatic has a very established area of the book. I don't know if it's a page count or what, but
I think so.
Flank.
Let me make sure I'm on the right page because I kind of fucked up when I first started. And so, out of more than 700,
no, a visibly
Fuck.
annoying Caligulio was waiting for a report.
God,
Oh, I have to change the page. There we go.
Yeah.
Now I see it.
Right after the dot.
Control F.
Oh,
What do you mean? There's no Control F? Okay. Oh.
Do you know you're
What
dealing
do you
with?
Control F4.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Have you tried Control F4?
Shut up.
No, it's Alt F4.
shut up.
Alt F4.
See, you didn't even do it right, man. If you're gonna troll them, you gotta be accurate.
Yep.
Be gone, bot. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, but you can't tell Nightbot to go away. Nightbot's
No.
doing what we ask it to do. That's not a random bot. That's a thing that we actually have doing stuff. Too bad we can't rename
Oh
it.
yeah, I
to
don't want to make him
Fatbot,
like shut off his
PHAT
computer.
Fatbot.
I actually just want to make him close up the window before.
Bro, what
'Cause then
the
we can
hell
see
is
the
going on
reaction.
with you?
With
Moon?
who?
You.
Huh?
You're the
I'm
one
still
that's
trying to
lost
find
and
it.
You're the one that's lost
don't
in the
know.
book. and can't
Oh,
find
that's
it.
right, because he was with you last
So
week, so I don't know
Walked
if he
too
would have
far in the
actually.
book.
That's right. You
Oh
were
my
with
God,
me.
that's right.
Yeah, because we didn't do Bookwalker last week.
Mm.
Oh,
Because you two were in the same chat or the same
You
room and
retract your
everything, so he
statement,
didn't
yeah.
use it. He didn't
Nightbot
update
is
it.
Nightbot is doing the scheduled post that we set it up to do.
So yeah, we do got to give him a minute to find it.
We gotta feed the Eevee.
Eevee. Really?
That was
Why
good
is
sound.
Eevee not the new mascot of Pokemon or versus Pikachu? He's just more popular. I feel like
I mean, they're kind of like,
nowadays.
they're kind of like partner mascots right now.
They're like this. They have the same level of popularity. I just feel Eevee's just kind of grown more.
Probably as of recently, but that doesn't mean that people stop loving Pikachu
Oh no, but
or Charizard. Apparently,
yeah, or Mewtwo.
yeah,
all,
or Mewtwo.
All women are queens.
All I gotta do your rated Pokemon against that type version.
Come
That
on,
reminds me.
man.
But generally
Nobody followed
speaking-
up
I
with
found
that?
it. I found it. It is page
Oh, we got it.
362. 362.
All right, so guys,
Yay!
I did the first half of the meme. Somebody else is gonna have to yell the second half. I will repeat it again because I know everybody was talking, could not hear.
I have no idea.
All women are queens.
If she breathes, she's a thought.
No,
Oh,
no,
you didn't say it right.
If
You had
she
to
breathes,
scream it.
She's a thought.
Yeah, you have to scream it.
Oh
If
no!
she
Oh no! I have
breathes-
neighbors.
She's a thought.
Yeah, no, I can't.
You have to scream it. Yeah, you have
She's
to
a
fucking scream it.
thought.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
literally was probably my favorite one to see in a lightsaber duel. They were getting ready to duel, and the guy that pulls out the blue saber goes, "All women are queens," and then the red saber comes out. If she breathes, she's a thought. I'm like, God damn,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
perfect.
That guy had some power behind it.
Yeah, but he was also
It was
outside.
not just a simple line read.
He was also
Yeah.
outside, so it worked
True,
better.
but that felt
Oh.
like from the heart. There's some experiences behind those words.
That actually reminded me
are
of
only
the
temporary,
meme.
jokes are eternal. I don't want to lose
true.
my apartment, man. I just stopped being
Oh, yeah.
homeless. So let's not
Oh.
continue
Yeah, no,
that.
he doesn't want to go back to that.
I was homeless for
We
like
can
3
help it.
months, y'all. That's why I was MIA for about two months there.
Well, we didn't have these streams
Yes.
for a bit.
Yeah, we didn't have streams
Yep.
or any of that stuff for
Mhm.
quite a bit.
None of the fun stuff.
None of
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
fun
Shem,
stuff.
that reminded me of another meme where it's
So-
I think the lightsaber duel is like it was just this fat kid's like Ager's not way of the chain, and he just slips and falls on his ass.
Guys,
Yeah.
we need to go ahead and get started. So Shim, would you please take over for us?
Sure thing.
Because we're supposed to be here to read, I guess.
Yeah, we
I
got a lot.
guess.
We
I
are?
suppose.
You shut up.
Shit, I've been coming to these for the wrong reason. Okay.
Well,
Just to
you-
see
wait,
me.
I actually-
Well,
understand.
you
Wait,
fucked.
I have to
You've
read
been
today?
fucking around for several weeks, and last week you found out what we are here for because I made you read the book with me.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna have to read today. What? I'm gonna get paid?
Mm.
Well, okay, let's
Hold
not
on.
go
Let's
crazy.
pump the brakes right there.
Yeah, the
Let's
reason
not
they
actually
don't
pay
have
out
me
the money.
read is
Let's
charge
not
per
get
word.
crazy.
One
We don't
cent
have
per
that kind of
word.
money.
They don't
We
have
don't
much
have.
budget to begin with.
Be nice.
Anyways.
He charges
Anyway.
per word. Little does he know the
I
word.
charge 1 cent per word.
No, no,
I'm
no,
fair.
no.
1
0.01
cent.
0.01 cent per word.
No, a penny. At least a
No,
penny.
Keep
no,
reading, maybe I'll make a
no,
whole
you-
dollar.
You make 1/100th of a penny for every word because
penny.
this is
That's
Fat
not
Dog.
what Tony told me.
That
That's
because
not what
this
we
is
agreed
Fat
upon.
Dog. This is Fat Dog, and we can't afford
I don't have
that.
any money.
Yeah,
There's no money right now.
that's why you limit how many minutes.
You want to raise
I
his?
get to
You want to
read.
raise everybody's pay to 1 penny per word? Bet more patrons.
God, that would be
Join our
so
Patreon.
Cool. Yeah,
Join
there
our
you go.
Patreon.
Very nice.
God, that would be
That would
so
be nice.
fun. That would be
If you
so
don't mind.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Please
All
and thank
right.
you.
Even just a
Charges
little
per
would be
word. The
nice.
price is
Anyways.
free.
yeah.
Let's
Anyway,
actually
Yes.
get into it because we're about half an hour
Anyway.
in.
Yeah.
And we got like 2.5 hours of
we
this.
we fucked around a little too much. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now let's find out.
Yeah.
Just like the Empire did last week.
Visibly.
Caligulio's the one that's gonna
Uh,
find out.
Yeah. Who is a visibly annoyed Caligulio, waiting for a report. It had been 2 whole days since he had dispatched 100 of his best men and women into the labyrinth, and he was no longer hiding his frustration at the fact that he hadn't heard from them. Well, not frustration, actually. He might have looked miffed on the outside, but on the inside, his heart was filled with anxiety. He had decided to attack the labyrinth after being dazzled by visions of big money and tons of magic crystals. He still didn't regret that. If they wanted to keep their backs protected, they couldn't have simply ignored the Demon Lord's domain. So Caligulio rejoiced as he saw all the treasure being taken out of the labyrinth, more than he had ever imagined. Looking back, however, it all seemed like the Demon Lord Rimur's trick. Caligulio realized that now, and he cursed his own cowardly ways. But at the same time, he began to fear that the Demon Lord would defeat him, and he'd have no way to block this. God damn it! Is there any report yet? His staff couldn't count the number of times he had bellowed that so far. Nobody had an answer for him, but now a murmur could be heard from outside the camp. What's going on? What's happening? Caligulio's question was answered by a private who came rushing in. Reporting, sir. We have just rendezvoused with troops from the Magitank force. What? Caligulio thought. No matter how nimble and rugged those Magitanks were, there was no way they wouldn't hear any sounds from them before they arrived. There were no messages about this at all, so the state of their allied forces was still an enigma. Given all that, he had a bad feeling, and it was growing by the second, and then his fears came true. We're back, sir. The woman who entered Caligulio's field tent was a fetching young lady who looked out of place on a battlefield. She was actually Misha, the lover, one of the 3 bosses of Cerberus. She was ordered by Yuki to carry out a scheme to ensnare Caligulio, and so she was participating in this operation. She really was chief of staff for the Empire's armored division, however, serving Caligulio with decent enough competence. But she was assigned to the Magitank force for this new op, a move Caligulio made for her own safety. It wasn't a deployment Misha was very happy with, given that her mission here was to monitor Caligulio's movements. Unfortunately, she was in no position to protect it, so she pretended to be grateful for the favor as she kept reporting back to Yuki. These reports, of course, included the crushing defeat of the Magitank force, and after that took place, she carefully left the field, making sure no monsters found her and regrouped with the main force there. Misha, are you all right? Yes, Sir Caligulio. Misha gave him a bewitching smile. Even with her stained, dirty uniform, her beauty hadn't faded one bit. Seeing her was a relief, but Caligulio hadn't forgotten about his duty. So what happened to the rest? How long will all of them rendezvous with the main force? He spoke quickly, peppering her with questions. Please, sir, just 1 minute. There's no point in panicking now. Huh? What do you mean? They've been wiped out. Huh? The Empire's proud Magitank force, along with 100 of its elite airships, have all been reduced to ashes. The bewitching smile was still on her face. That can't be! What the hell are you talking about? Caligulio smiled in disbelief. Misha remained silent, and her silence forced him to believe her. They're really all wiped out? Yes, sir. So the only surviving members of the armored force are the people here right now? That would be the case, sir. Hearing this, Caligulio hung his head. The rest of his staff followed suit, their faces pale. Their invasion was now a complete failure. Even if they managed to conquer the labyrinth here, countless thousands of soldiers had lost their lives, and there'd be no way to escape the blame for it. Emperor Ludora would never forgive Caligulio and his staff. What should we do? He whispered. The staff had no answer, but then Misha spoke up. We should retreat. What? I had a quick look around earlier. It looks like you're not having much luck in the labyrinth either. I suppose labyrinths are meant to be explored, not invaded by vast armies. Did that Yuki boy say that? Yes, sir. He said that only our elites should be unleashed into the maze. Ridiculous! I've sent our damn elites in. A furious Caligulio shouted back at the calm, polite Misha. He was right. In fact, just 2 days prior, he sent in the best forces he could think of. Alongside all the elites in the restructured armor corps, proud to be the Empire's strongest force, there were over 500,000 people down there. They couldn't have possibly hoped for anything better. All those elites would no doubt congregate in the labyrinth, and even now they must have been marching for the bottom. Caligulio believed that, and if he didn't, his heart would have been gripped with fear. But Misha was relentless. But even after swallowing up the most elite members of our force, the labyrinth is alive and well. And yes, it's possible that there's still a battle going on inside, but we have no way of finding out what's going on, and it'll be difficult to send yet more reinforcements, won't it? Enough. All you can do is wait for our allies to leave the labyrinth alive, right? I said enough! Listen, Misha, you have nothing to worry about. The higher-ups have been given necklaces that can resurrect them. As long as you are wearing it, if you die in the labyrinth, you'll be resurrected outside of it. And the fact that nobody's come out yet proves the invasion's going just fine. Caligulio knew full well that this was a rather optimistic view, but as a general in charge of their full force, he had no choice but to resort to it right now. However, Misha's pursuit didn't end there. Unlike the other staff, Misha hadn't enthralled Caligulio. Even if she riled him here, she was confident she'd be allowed to do whatever she wanted. But you haven't confirmed that the prototype necklaces actually work yet, have you? Sir Yuki said that if the bracelets were generated by someone's special skill, it'd be impossible to make a copy of it. That silenced Caligulio. There was no way he could tell his troops to die for the sake of this experiment. Just like Misha said, he had been sending his comrades without firm idea if the necklaces worked. They were just meant as an insurance policy if something went awry, and Caligulio understood that. But Misha was right, and he was wrong. You can't lead an army division through strength alone. Strength is needed, yes, but nobody too incompetent to read the current situation correctly could ever hold that position for long. But Caligulio never believed there was such a thing as a structure that over 500,000 elite troops couldn't conquer. This was a formidable force, one that could reduce multiple large cities to ashes. Even in the worst-case scenario, they should have been able to destroy the labyrinth and escape, he thought. And that wasn't all. Many people had already died, he knew. If he decided to abandon his fellow comrades inside the labyrinth, Caligulio's name would be forever enshrined as the incompetent general who oversaw historic defeat. He started this campaign with 900,000 troops, and now was down to below 200,000. There was no way he could do something as terrifying as retreat like this. It was only at this point that Caligulio realized he had thoroughly underestimated this demon lord. He only saw the Storm Dragon as a threat. To him, the demon lord Rimuru and his forces were nothing but an opponent to be overrun and crushed. He hadn't spotted the enemy he was supposed to be fighting this whole time. It was a fatal blunder, but it was too early to give up. Hope in the form of Minutes was still there for him. Calm down. I trust Major General Minutes. Calm down. I trust Major General Minutes more than anyone else on this force. And he's in the labyrinth right now. I'm sure he'll bring back some intelligence. We can wait for the results from him first. But Caligulio was unable to finish. No. You should immediately withdraw, sir. This unsolicited advice was offered by a man who had suddenly entered the tent. Who are you? One of the staffers demanded. Caligulio looked at the intruder, hoping what the guard sentry was up to. He appeared to be fine, but the blood on his uniform was troubling. Nobody in this tent had been involved in actual battle, so it was possible he was a survivor of another unit, or My name is Krishna. Imperial Garden number 17 and one of the force of 100 who entered the labyrinth 2 days ago. Everyone present was astonished, Caligulio included. You're an Imperial Guardian? Why is the Emperor's personal guard here? The staff were disturbed, but Caligulio lived up to his reputation, quickly regaining his composure. That's not the question. Krishna, was it? Can you begin by telling us what's going on? With a single shout, he calmed the situation down a notch. Krishna thanked him with a nod and hastily briefed the tent. The one thing I have to say is, that labyrinth's no joke. I'm not sure this will mean anything to you, but Bazan, ranked 35th, and Reha, ranked 94th, are dead. Major General Minutes died before my eyes, and I don't know for sure, but I think Colonel Kansas is dead too. There are no survivors left in the labyrinth right now. You can be assured of that. Everyone listened in stunned silence. Caligulio wanted to rant and rave about how much of a lie this was, but Krishna's eyes were dead serious. His whole body indicated he was telling the truth. Besides, he was a familiar face to Caligulio. He remembered Krishna as one of the people he sent out 2 days ago. So, he was resurrected? Did he have a resurrection bracelet then? A real one, not an imitation? Then it's safe to assume it's really him. Caligulio tried to think calmly, despite the fact that he wanted to be furious. Ghidorah had submitted 2 resurrection bracelets to the government. One was analyzed by their technical bureau, which helped them create replicas, while the other was presented to the Emperor. Being loaned one of those replicas was probably what allowed Krishna to come back to life. It confirmed that resurrection bracelets actually worked, and also that their copies didn't work at all. In other words, every one of their men and women in the labyrinth had been wholly annihilated, over 500 soldiers dead. The sheer enormity of that fact turned Caligulio pale, but Krishna wasn't done yet. Also, the one who killed me wasn't the Demon Lord at all, or even one of the big 4 who serve him. It was a magic-born whose name I've never even heard of before. He was part of the 10 dungeon marvels, as he called it, but he was a level above anything I've ever seen. Anyone who was in the marvels had fighting ability comparable to or higher than an archdemon. But even among all of them, the demon who called himself Zegian was on another dimension, enough so that Krishna saw full well how little chance he had to win. I'll say this one more time. We have to retreat. There's no shame in that. Please, you have to step up and make the decision that'll save the troops we have left. Krishna's ardor made the officers tense up. His words were undoubtedly true. Everybody's gut feeling was telling him there was no time to lose. Not the Demon Lord? They have archdemon level monsters just bumping around in there? They're that strong? How is some upstart Demon Lord capable of having so much power? Caligulio lost his patience and began ranting. His staff officers took that cue to begin shouting as well. We have to retreat this instant. This isn't only our fault. The IIB was negligent as well. Exactly. We have to help the survivors escape before the Demon Lord Rimuru makes another move. Everybody was expressing their opinions now. Usually they wasted hours arguing with each other, but on this occasion, they had unanimous agreement. Each of them instinctively knew they were in danger. Finally, Misha spoke. I forgot to report this to you, sir, but it wasn't the Dragon Veldora who drove us to destruction. It was somebody else's nuclear magic that dealt the fatal blow. Twice, in fact. It was magic on a scale that could easily defeat any Legion magic. The one who cast it is a threat, yes, but that's not my point. The point is, nobody needed to hear it. Everybody understood already. Veldora, the Storm Dragon, was still waiting for them ahead. So Caligulio made his decision. Gather the troops! We're changing course. For now, we have to turn around and go back to our nation. He called it a change of course and not a retreat mainly for his own sake. He knew it was just semantic nonsense, but if he didn't phrase it that way, the anxiety was likely to crush him. No matter how foolish it sounded, he didn't care, as long as it got them out of his place, or out of this place. His staff all agreed on this, and they were ready to carry out the order at once. But the decision came too late. The situation was starting to evolve, soon to become a raging torrent that would sweep in and swallow them all up. The fate of the Imperial Army was already set in stone. Oh god. As if to cancel, yeah, they're fucked. They're boned. As if to cancel out Caligulio's order, a low, clear voice echoed across the tent. I cannot have that. My boss says he will not allow you to retreat. The man put all the frenzied activity in this command tent to a halt. All eyes were on the tent entrance, where there stood a man in a foreign costume with a weapon called a katana at his waist. His white hair, speckled with gold, was pulled back and tied into a single knot, and he had a long white beard and a wrinkled face, but his sharp eyes and straight, clean posture made him seem ageless. Who are you? Krishna asked, stepping forward. My pardons. My name is Agera, and I have been sent by my master, Lady Carrera, as her messenger. This was Agera. Rimuru, being the peace-loving demon lord he was, had decided to send out an envoy to hopefully accept the enemy's surrender. Few expected the Empire to offer it. In fact, more of them were saddened to potentially lose the opportunity to kick some Imperial ass. But Agera, one of the few among them with actual common sense, insisted that this was the true way of a warrior, so Geld granted his permission for it. Omiji had no objections either, and so he was ordered to act as a military envoy. This was also, however, meant to help buy time for the Tempest army to get ready. Whether the Imperial forces surrendered or made a last-ditch stand, they didn't care much, but running away was not allowed. Everybody who participated in this invasion must be punished. That was Rimuru's decision. Agera respected it, and so he had no intention of letting Caligulio off the hook here. One of the staff officers spoke to him. A messenger? By your boss? Do you mean Rimuru? Agera's expression turned grim for a moment. How dare you refer to my stately leader strictly by his given name? Such arrogance. I hope you will reflect on that affront in the afterlife. The moment he stopped speaking, the head of the staff officer who had asked the question fell to the ground. No one present realized that Agera had drawn his sword. Even Krishna, who was closest to him, couldn't react in any way. With a single word, or a single sword, Agera now dominated the scene. As everyone fell silent, he began to list his demands in a clear voice. Now that it seems everyone is ready to listen to me, I will give our terms. Disarm yourselves immediately and surrender. If you do, you will be kept alive, I assure you, as our slave. If you choose to defy us, that is fine as well. We will decide your fates with our valor instead. I will wait 1 hour. If you wish to surrender, you may do so at any time before then. With that, Agera turned away. Caligulio's brain was working hard, trying to figure out the best plan of action. Hoping for a Hail Mary, he decided to negotiate with Agera. Excuse me. I'd like you to wait a moment. Yes. Agera stopped and looked back at Caligulio. Caligulio. Sorry. My name is Caligulio. I'm the leader of this army and chief of this operation. Ah, and what do you want? Agera's mission here was to buy time, so he was in no hurry to go back. He wasn't particularly interested in hearing Caligulio out, but he decided to anyway. Seeing this reaction, the commander put all his hope in reasoning with him. Sir Agera, you said earlier that you'd accept us as slaves if we surrendered, but could you perhaps reconsider those terms? The idea of slavery is simply too cruel to bear. I'm afraid I cannot accept that condition. The sudden plea startled his staff officers, but no one voiced any objection. Everyone understood how weak their position was, and everyone knew this negotiation was their best hope for the future. Taking advantage of Agera's silence, Caligulio continued his one-sided conversation. You can obtain victory for yourself without having to fight us when we're at our most ferocious. Instead of making us slaves, would you be able to let us go for now? We'll pay you reparations, of course, and we promise to refrain from any further invasion. No, actually, more than that. I would like to return to my homeland and appeal to the Emperor and to form an alliance with your nation. If you and the Empire join forces, it'd be a trivial matter to rule the world. I'm sure it'd put your leader in an advantageous position over the other demon lords, and I don't think this is a bad offer from the demon lord Rimuru as well. Believe me, we will never forget a favor. What do you think? Could you perhaps allow us an audience with His Majesty the demon lord Rimuru? Caligulio was desperate. Looking at how things were right now, the invasion of Dworgen and the Labyrinth were both abject failures. Everybody involved with both operations was dead. The only survivors were the less than 200,000 people present here. They had blown this invasion royally, no matter how you looked at it. Even Caligulio had no choice but to admit that. He admitted it, and he wanted to make sure that those who were still alive could return home safely. It was the only way he could take responsibility for this now. After having his say, Caligulio waited for Agera's response. He knew this offer was a little convenient for his side, but it didn't mean they had zero chance. Their numbers might be significantly culled from before, but a little under 200,000 is still a very large army. They couldn't have been any smaller than the Demon Lord's forces, and having them all fighting for their lives in a frenzy couldn't have been what the Demon Lord Rimuru wanted. And unlike the Labyrinth on the ground, you couldn't come back to life if you died. That's why this proposal, which granted them a complete victory, really should have been worthy of their consideration. At the very least, it wasn't the kind of offer Agera could respond to right now. It definitely had to be conveyed to the Demon Lord Rimuru, and if he could be brought up into the loop, that's when the real work would begin. Maybe he wouldn't let everyone off the hook, but at least some of their forces might have a chance to escape, including Caligulio, he hoped. If they want to make slaves of us, they're probably not intent on taking our lives. It's rare to see such leniency from a Demon Lord, but maybe that'll help us this time. We could always buy back the rank-and-file soldiers later. I'll need to return home and inform His Majesty about this. Caligulio wanted to save his own life, but more than that, he wanted to save as many soldiers as possible. That, and he wanted to bring accurate intelligence back to the Emperor. Those were his true intentions, deep down. He had grossly underestimated the enemy's war power, and it led to defeat this time, but in a sense, it was totally unavoidable. With their gigantic forces, he was positive they could have seized Dworgen, Tempest, and the Western nations, even if they had to fight all three at once. He was absolutely sure of his victory, and this was the result. It was impossible to imagine a story as ridiculous as the Demon Lord Rimuru having not just one, but several disaster-grade monsters serving him. Caligulio's downfall might be inevitable after this fiasco, but any further sacrifices could very well destroy the entire framework of the empire. Better retreat then, and bet on their future reconstruction. Even if it meant abandoning his pride, Caligulio may have been greedy, but if he wasn't incompetent, and that's why he offered his proposal. If the demon Lord Rimuru wants me alive, then so be it. I'm sure somebody will bring the required intelligence back to Emperor Ludora, and once they do, this defeat will finally take on meaning. Caligulio was prepared to sacrifice himself for this negotiation, but it was all too late. Do you think you are in a position to state your conditions at this point? The moment you rejected Lady Testarosa's mercy, your fates were all sealed. Your choice is to resist or obey. Take your pick. That was Hagera's reply, and with nobody else able to move, he leisurely took his leave of the tent, but not before adding one more thing. And don't think about running away. What do we do? Misha asked Caligulio, who was standing there stunned. After a moment of silence, we have no choice but to fight. And our lives belong to the Emperor. Perhaps we would survive longer as slaves, but we could hardly face His Majesty if we had to accept such humiliation. It was with a quiet determination that he made the decision. But we have no magic tanks and no magic cancelers. It's going to be a tough fight, don't you think? I don't care. Survival's no longer the goal. Our mission is to bring back all this information to the Emperor. All of you have to escape this, no matter what, or no matter how many soldiers have to be sacrificed. But please, sir, wait a minute. What do you intend to do then? Isn't it obvious? We'll show these monsters our pride as Imperial soldiers. Okay, well, they're boned even more. The desperation finally... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely boned.
Yeah, The desperation finally made Caligulio abandon his selfishness. Here and now, he regained his pride as a pure, noble soldier. Seeing him change his stripes, his lieutenant and staff officers followed suit. Nobody would be shameless enough to leave you alone and run, sir. That's right. Nothing like a little last-ditch effort for some excitement, eh? We're not guaranteed to lose yet. Now's when the armored division will show its true colors. They all raised their spirits, boosting their morale as they did. Misha alone heaved a sigh. In that case, I'm going to run away. I'm not admirable enough of a woman to go along with all of your death wishes. She waved her hands in the air as she did, all but relishing playing the villain. It made Caligulio smile bitterly. Thank you. I know you have links to that kid, Yuki. Tell the Empire just how incompetent I was. Don't leave out a single detail. Yes, sir, she said, smiling back. Nobody was going to stop Misha. Everybody knew that getting out of there was never going to be easy for her. Let me appoint you guards. We'll take that role if we could. Before Caligulio could finish, two figures appeared in the tent. They were Bernie and Jiwoo, freshly escaped from the labyrinth. Oh, single digits! Krishna shouted. Oh, Krishna? Good to see you again. Staying here's just gonna get you killed, you know. You want to join us? Bernie asked. Everyone fell silent. A single digit, one of the strongest forces of the Empire, was predicting defeat for them. It spoke volumes about the severity of the battle that lay ahead. No, I will stay with Lord Caligulio. Oh, no? Well, I'll tell His Majesty everything you did then. You will die a glorious death in battle, not like some gutter rat. Give it all you've got. It's bound to be worth doing. Bernie's words echoed heavily across the tent. Jiwoo silently agreed with him. Then, taking Misha along, they quickly withdrew from the scene. Those who remained were prepared to die. There's no need to stick to that envoy's time limit. We'll strike them with maximum force before the enemy's ready. Caligulio's order reached all the way down to the bottom rungs in an instant. Everyone went on the move, hurrying along, ready to give their all in the final battle.
Alrighty. So now that we made it this far, let's talk about what we just went through.
They're boned.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Absolutely boned.
So
die with their pride. Well, for whatever that is worth. At this
I
point.
was
just
waiting
huffing
for
the
this.
copium. Just
Once again.
I need my pride, Kakarot.
Once again, we've got kind of a little bit of the build up for this particular battle that's about to happen in the war. I do have good news for you. This is literally the end of the war right here, because they have no more troops left.
God.
They have no more troops left to play after this. So if they wipe out this force, that's kind of it, because
nice.
They've literally been giving Yuki's group a pass, but if Yuki's group moved on the Dwarven Mountain, they'd be back in a heartbeat to fuck him and all his shit up. But right now, the way things are standing, it's Yuki and his group, and then the tank division and the airships, and everybody that tried to invade Tempest. And they've already sent people out after the other airships that were headed to Inglacia. So, yeah, this is going to be nice.
I'm not gonna lie, like as soon as the envoy came into their camp, I just started playing like the where's the Emperor Palpatine theme, just like, and then after that, like Duel Fates.
I don't know what he looks like, but in my mind, he looks like that one teacher from Spy X Family.
Oh,
the Elegant. You know that guy?
Oh,
I don't know. My mind, he looks just
I
like
still have
that.
to watch that. That's on my list to watch.
With the beard. Yeah.
No, who looks like that?
The Agera? I don't know. He just kind of
I think
in
it's
my mind,
okay.
it looked like
the guy with his hair tied
like
back
that in my
Gotcha.
mind, except he had like a bun thing, and he was scary. But you know, it works. Should I continue?
Yeah, Rimuru just sent all the demons out for a moonlight walk. That's all.
Nice.
All
Just to
right,
clear their
guys,
heads,
I'm gonna let you stretch your
He
legs.
goes, all right, my demons, go for a walk. Like,
I don't think it'd be that like
nice
Citizens be like, you know what, you guys, we're in a war zone. This feels like an ideal environment. I'm gonna let you guys, you guys are really cooped up. You gotta go out and stretch your legs a little,
All right,
like really innocent, like.
Yeah.
It's time to continue.
Yeah.
If we can get to 358 before your time ends, that's where I'm marking it right now.
Okay. I'm gonna try.
Yeah. 358 on my side. You've got coming up a picture and another dot, like really, really close. But if we get 358, that's bringing us super, super close because the actual thing, the chapter itself ends in like the 380s, I think.
Okay.
And then we have, because the epilogue starts. Oh no, 375 is actually where the chapter ends, and then 377 is where the epilogue picks up. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Let's go. Cool. I will let you
Let's
know when
get
you've gotten
going.
there.
Okay. They've decided to fight then. Guild shot a respectful glance at the Imperial troops that had started moving en masse. Neither he nor anyone else on his.
Where did you go to?
Guild
smiled. This was awesome. Is where we're at.
What? Hold on. Ready to give it all for their final battle. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. No. Because
Did I
Caligula's
miss-
order
did
reached
I
all the way
miss the
down.
page?
I think you missed the page, yeah. Because we're in 399, or in the Kindle we're in 399.
No. We're still at 348. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they decided to fight then. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they decided.
You're in the correct spot. I lost my page. That was the problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I actually skipped ahead.
Go for it.
So I had to go back and check.
Neither he nor anyone else on his side were certain of their victory yet. On the contrary, they were at an overwhelming numerical disadvantage. Letting their guard down was out of the question. Letting anyone else lose their lives against this wounded tiger was unthinkable. The role of Geld's second corps was defense. They take the front line and protect their firepower in the rear. That should have been enough to achieve victory. The dwarves excelled in this tactic, building a wall of forces and unleashing powerful offensive magic from beyond it. It was simple, straightforward, and perfectly suited for Geld's team. The fourth corps would be in charge of providing that firepower, and right now was led by Momiji from the Tengu. Victory for our master! Already she was delivering a charming little pet talk to her forces. Taking this side approach in her quest for Benimaru was quite a bold strategy. In time, she thought it'd help break the ice between them. Before he knew it, they'd be an established couple. Aw. Benimaru may very well have already lost to Momiji at the strategy phase, Gale thought, but then maybe Benimaru didn't mind so much. If he did, he would have done something about it long ago, or else he wouldn't be much of a born leader at all. The problem, Geld supposed, was that Benimaru had too many girls with a thing for him. Everyone knew about Alvis, of course. The competition between her and Momiji was so fierce that it had become a pretty notorious among Rimuru's staff. There was really no telling at this point if Momiji would emerge as a winner in the end. But now Alvis was rushing in to reinforce the Tempest army, which undoubtedly left Geld at a loss who to root over. Or who to root for. I better keep my nose out of this, he thought. Inevitably, someone's going to end up disappointed, so... It was very non-warrior-like of him, but either way, he took his mind off the subject and checked again for any flaws in his forces. The rear guard was fully prepared to support the rest of the group, and their methods of attack were at the ready. Momiji was leading the main force, with Shion commanding her own unit and Alvis overseeing the reinforcements. Coordination between them wouldn't be a problem, not with Benimaru around. As long as I do my part, we won't lose. Geld's defense was truly ironclad. The elites of the yellow and orange numbers totaled 17,000 in all. These fighters were all completely protected by Geld's unique skill protector. On top of that, Kurobe's and Garm's armor had beefed up their defenses to the point that not even cannonballs could fell them. Cool picture. As if that wasn't enough, Gourmet, Geld's other unique skill, had a stomach that was accessible by the entire armed force. If anyone got hurt, they could be healed magically through that via the support troops to the rear. And if someone was seriously messed up, they had instant access to as much healing potion as needed. A large supply was always kept in Geld's stomach in case of emergency, not just for this war, but at all times. Rimuru kept it fully stocked for just that purpose. This potion wouldn't go bad or anything inside the stomach either, and so the army had permission from Rimuru to deplete the stockpile as much as needed today. Oh, cool. Mobile fridge. Nice.
Yeah, he could finally, lose a little weight, Yeah,
there's no, yeah. From the standpoint of logistics, a unit that could replenish its supplies on the spot without having to move an inch would put any commander's mind at ease. In a way, the monster's own bodies were building a stout barrier for them all. There's no way they could lose, Gil thought. But after that, he looked at the sky. There he saw the figure of an officer named Carrera, who was assigned to his unit. If she's got enough power to make Sir Rimuru count on her, I'm sure gonna be looking forward to this. The final battle was almost here. Gel, nearly beside himself with excitement, continued to quietly wait for the opening bell. Carrera was idly floating in the sky. Within Geld's line of sight, she had been assigned to the 2nd Army Corps with her 2 companions, but they were operating separately for now. Rimuru had given her the honor of being on the vanguard force, and the warrior Geld had graciously accepted the trio, advising them to act as they pleased. He seemed like a very nice person, and Carrera felt like they'd be getting along excellently before long. Rimuru had given Carrera a secret order to protect Geld as well. She didn't know for sure, but she guessed that Testarossa and Ultima received similar orders. If anyone on the Empire's side was too much for his chief officials to deal with, the demons would keep those foes occupied and buy time for their side. That was the real mission. That wasn't the case now, however. Now that they were in a leading position among the forces, there was no reason for the 3 of them to stay together. In fact, given the wall Geld and his forces had already built up, Carrera and her friends had nothing to do, really. For now, the first priority on Carrera's mind was figuring out how best to annihilate the enemy. So there she was in the sky, just about to unleash a nuclear magic spell. Whoa, wait a second, Lady Carrera. What did you just try to do? Agera, just back from his envoy Aaron, hurriedly came up to stop her. The hard-nosed old veteran Caligulio saw was nowhere to be seen. In front of Carrera, Agera was nothing but a hapless, long-suffering servant. He rushed back here because he had a premonition that something bad was about to happen, and it turned out he was right. The way he could detect subtle signals predicting Carrera's actions showed how developed his keen intuition had become over many years of working for her. Oh, you're back, Agera. I've been thinking about a few things, but I honestly think I need some practice. I don't want to mess up when it's really time to fight. She wanted to fire that off while nobody was around and nitpick at her about it, but being interrupted didn't seem to bother her at all. It was pretty clear evidence that this behavior was pretty much par for the course. Practice, you say? Right, yeah. I'm just triggering a nuclear explosion from the sky, so it'll look kind of like a big firework, There might be some residual heat that burns up the ground a little, but no biggie. What do you think? That won't be a problem, will it? It's excellent, my lady. A perfect idea. Well done as always. The girl who accompanied the smug Carrera was now giving her effusive praise. This was Esprit, a demon on roughly the same social caste as Agera. She looked like a cute little girl, but one with a terrifying personality. In fact, it'd be no exaggeration to say she was the worst of Carrera's underlings. But she had the power to back it up, so even Agera had trouble dealing with her. Typically as servants, he and Esprit would be sharing in the same hardships, but Esprit indulged all Carrera's impulses so much that she wasn't afraid of a bulwark at all. Never once had to even try to admonish her. Whatever Carrera did was fine with her. Esprit left all the difficult, awkward lecturing to Agera, while continuing to be Carrera's top bandwagoner. This meant that Agera did all the labor among them, and which made for a less than healthy working relationship. To him, Testarossa, a sensible girl who was pure evil, and Ultima, who was in contrast pursuit of further brutality, were just as bad as Carrera. But simply being evil wasn't the problem. Even Carrera, who always did everything turned up to 11 without worrying about the collateral damage, was a troublesome lord to serve in Agera's eyes. Spreading mayhem, then saying, oops, that kind of caused a lot of damage afterwards didn't strike him as funny at all. He couldn't just bring himself to laugh along with her. On the other hand, his colleague Esprit didn't mind Carrera at all, thanks to having such similar personalities. Agera envied her for that. It's not excellent at all, you. Keep your mouth shut. The long-suffering Agera yelled at the irresponsible Esprit about it. Then he turned to Carrera and began to explain matters carefully, as if talking to a child. Listen, Lady Carrera, I just visited the enemy camp as an envoy, right? Right, yeah. And it's a rule on the battlefield that you're not supposed to make any moves until the time comes. What? It's just practice. Practice or not, you still can't do it. Agera's boss, Carrera, was like a runway train with no brakes. Stopping her required a mammoth effort, but her power was just so overwhelming it made her tough to control. She had been making a regular habit of agitating the Demon Lord Leon on a daily basis, shooting nuclear magic off to provoke him. It didn't turn into a war thanks to Leon being cool-headed, but if it was any other Demon Lord, the fallout would have been massive. But whether Carrera had her fill, she'd just go back to her home in the Demon Realm. She was just looking for momentary kicks, so she never placed much importance on winning or losing fights. Even if she ever lost, she would have just disappeared from the scene with a big smile on her face. She wouldn't think she lost so much, so it wouldn't damage her or make her feel any remorse. That's who she was. And before now, Agera was at a loss to figure out how to teach her some common sense. Not now, however. Up to this point, there was no one who could give orders to Agera and his ruling class companions, the top-ranking demons of the realm and the most powerful as well. That was doubly true for Carrera, who could even make those ruling classes do her bidding. Even offering your opinion to her was done at your own risk. Carrera only allowed Agera to serve her without being rubbed out of existence because she liked him. Fair. Now, though, Carrera herself was not serving the Demon Lord Rimuru. Agera believed that, in order to win Rimuru's favor, Carrera had best start to learn a little patience. That, and using her head instead of acting on impulses. To achieve this, he needed his boss Carrera to learn a little common sense. If Carrera could learn and master Tempest's assorted legal rules and regulations, Agera thought, then he really hoped she could act more considerate in her day-to-day life, too. Then maybe my hardships would be eased a little. With that modest wish in his heart, Agera made a daily effort to offer Carrera the frank advice she needed. He was always on the lookout for a good opportunity to lecture her, and while it might look like an old man berating his granddaughter, he didn't care about that. Now, he thought, was his chance. He needed to be understandable and concise, tough when dealing with Carrera, who was easily bored and never listened very long to others. But then, as Agera earnestly explained the customs of war to Carrera, the Imperial Army suddenly went on the move. Hey, Agera, you gave them a lot more time than that, didn't you? I did, yes. Okay, so while I was listening to all of your boring trivia, the Empire's gotten a leg up on us? This unnerved Agera for two reasons. Carrera didn't understand the concept of going easy at all, but getting her mad and her outbursts usually led to massive meltdowns. If the brunt of that anger was pointed at Agera, he'd have to give up on living. But he was also mad at the Empire for ruining this lesson on the rules of warfare he was giving her. This reckless action on their part, akin to betrayal, made him angry for the first time in quite a while. Lady Carrera, leave that old man alone and let's teach a lesson to those idiots who can't even keep a promise. Espit flashed a look at Agera that screamed, I hope you're happy now, asshole, then pointed towards the Empire to draw Carrera's attention. Geld and his army were going into formation and headed their way where nearly 20,000 troops marching, or on their way there were nearly 20,000 troops marching in an orderly fashion. Oh. From the air, the soldiers who seemed to fill Carrera's entire field of vision looked like a fat hog ready for the dinner table. She nodded, smiling. That sounds good. You won't stop me, of course. Right, Agera? The terrifying tone of the question indicated that any attempt to stop her would result in murder. But Agera's reaction wasn't what she expected. Yes. I did tell them to wait an hour, but I did not say what they couldn't attack in the meantime. I suppose I am to blame for this misunderstanding. So what do we do? Well, if someone is that eager to die, it's the duty of any warrior to intercede on their part. No need to go easy. I think quite safe doing whatever you like. Agera was fully ready for this. He might have been a gentle, decidedly undemonic demon, but anyone who mocked his master or broke their promises to him would face his almighty rage. Great. This is so thrilling. See, this is why I love you so much. He'd never stop Carrera now. Realizing this, she let out a gleeful laugh. Okay, let's get started. Let's teach them what happens when they try meddling with us. Yes, my lady. Coming right up. And so the battle broke up, and the Empire had no idea that their own actions were akin to signing their own death warrants. All right, how about a rain of nuclear spells for starters? Ooh, I like that. It's like planting tulip bulbs in the ground, except they're mushroom clouds. Sometimes when you offend somebody who's usually mild-mannered, they can react with shockingly severe retribution. The Empire was about to find this out the hard way. No, that's still too little. Lady Carrera, remember what our master told us, please. He told you he wanted something massive that'd scare the Empire out of their wits. Wouldn't combining our full forces together be the best way to adhere to our master's wishes? Carrera's eyes opened wide. Oh god, it made sense to her. Agera's words were indeed correct, and now that Agera himself, usually busy snipping at Carrera to keep her from running wild, was telling her not to hold back, it was a deeply moving experience for her. Oh, Agera, you finally understand! And you're right. I think I've been setting my own limits too much lately. Your words just woke me up. Right. Let's show them what we've got. I have a big spell I've never quite pulled off before, but it's time to debut it to the world. Carrera was motivated. motivated and going all out like never before. Agera, regaining his composure, began to say, "Uh-oh," to himself, but it was already too late for that now. She was already focusing on the spell she was casting. Esprit was giving him a "now what?" look, but at this point, all he could do was wait and see what happened. If his boss went out of control and got angry at him later, well, he could think about that when the time came. With that in mind, Agera decided to sit back and enjoy this. Even he was a demon after all. In the end, the Imperial army that had begun to march ahead was destroyed by an attack from above. They had multiple Legion magic-driven barriers over them, further magic defenses provided by state-of-art equipment, a force populated by soldiers who had all high magic resistance of their own, and all manner of holy blessings applied to them. And all those measures were utterly powerless in the face of a large-scale extinction magic career unleashed. Good. This was Gravity Collapse.
Fuck all you guys.
Yeah, Jesus.
She's
Bye.
Tempest of Ion
Oh,
Leaf.
The
yeah.
finger of God went. Wah.
Parry this, you filthy casuals.
You filthy macaque.
Yeah. This was Gravity Collapse, a type of nuclear magic boasting the most force among all the spells in its family. Gravity Collapse required both precise magic manipulation and an enormous amount of magical energy. The Abyss Core at its foundation was left unattended. It ballooned in size until it triggered a nuclear flame. But in the forbidden Gravity Collapse spell, it was instead suppressed and compressed to create a super gravitational field, in laypeople's terms, an artificial black hole. The supercharged local gravitational field, created by the adverse reaction from the planet's own magnetic fields.
Black hole.
Then, she just, here you go, catch this, fuckhead. and then crushed anyone caught inside into the size of a pebble. Oh, needless to say,
You even
the
compress
Have you,
everything
have
down
you
to
heard?
that.
Have you heard the rumor that if you get too close to a black hole, you turn into spaghetti?
you
Good.
just get turned into a one singular crouton.
Good. Best you don't think about that then.
Needless to say, the effect on the Imperial force was pretty tragic. With no advance warning, gravity suddenly began to flatten them. The troops were all pulverized, unable to bear even their own weight. Marching on open terrain proved to be their downfall. There was no way to escape the eyes of the demon. Over 4/5 of the army of nearly 200,000 was trapped within the magic sphere of influence. They are all currently on the ground, unable to move, but the real essence of the spell has just beginning. A storm of magical force began to blow upon them, affecting only the precisely defined area Carrera designated. It was an inverted storm, like nothing that anyone had ever seen. The hyper-compressed space soon reached its breaking point, and in another moment, all its energy was focused on a singular dot in space. Then it imploded, and the planet was greeted with an extremely miniature version of a supernova. A jet-black pillar connected the surface to the heavens, the earth, sand, and dust that had been swept up to the stratosphere by the huge explosion, as if Carrera just opened the manhole to hell. Oh, that's a great
then.
description.
Opening
It was
the
no
manhole
type of
to
magic.
hell. I love that.
Fucking
I love
Agera
that.
just sitting
No,
there
I
like,
love that.
what have I done?
First, black hole, and then you know what? Supernova. Just like goddamn.
Just casually just blowing a fucking star up here. It's fine, no worries.
Just
On the
opening
surface
up
of the
the
planet.
Describing how they're dying, it's
Just
like,
opening
Shem,
up the
I'm
manhole
eating
to
here.
hell as
Oh,
you
dude,
do.
The animation for this is going to be incredible, and it's going to take like half the budget.
The fucking sound design. No, the fucking
Just-
sound design is gonna be because while the animation in Slime is good, the sound design is just impeccable.
Dude, I have a feeling it's going to be
When-
one of those explosions
like,
that
guys-
goes off silent, and
Guys, let's not forget.
You hear
this?
Let's
Oh,
not
you mean like
forget
Star
how
Wars?
delicious the
Mhm.
sound design was when Geld was just beating that ass. When he was just when Geld decided to publicly beat his meat.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Said, "Oh, you've got a healing ability. Let me make this next few hours hell for you."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Heal damage
Yep.
I can deal you. All right, cool. Let's stress test it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jesus.
I love that.
It was-
Let's
Stress test it.
Yeah, just
Oh,
Alright.
such a good line.
That's a line
was-
you got to use in the abridged.
Maybe.
it was
We'll
no
find out.
it was no type of magic that should ever be used while standing atop a planet. If she hadn't taken the time to find a precise range
It's
for
so bad we had to censor it for the novel.
Jesus Christ, yeah. If she hadn't taken the time to define a precise range for it, the entire forest of Jura would have become a charred wasteland, and nobody in the Imperial Army ever had a chance of being resistant to it. The nuclear magic Gravity Collapse is an all-attribute attack, encompassing all magical and physical phenomena. Thus, most troops caught inside were smashed into dust before even realizing what happened.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Not even. He just goes, I dead.
Yeah, it's like
Go. Go. Crush.
I just
Commander,
can't wait to hear.
Fucking
I
sick
just
for
can't
that
wait
one.
to get
Jesus.
Remu's perspective on this see him
Oh.
freaking the fuck out.
just sitting
I
there
don't think there
watching
was
the
a
screen,
single
just like,
person.
Uh,
I don't think there was a single person
Oh.
for 50 miles who wouldn't have noticed that.
Yeah,
Oh.
right?
You
know
Somewhere
what?
in a distant city, it became daytime for like 10 seconds.
no. So somewhere in an even further city, they're just like, the beacons have been lit.
Meanwhile,
God, we're
thousands of
close.
miles
Guys,
away.
guys,
This is true.
guys,
Daytime
this
for a
is a-
second. What happened?
Guys, this is a black attack, and the whole thing is happening during daytime. It literally turned
God.
night for 10 seconds.
It's like,
Yeah, just
do we just have an experience in
better.
eclipse? What happened there?
Yeah. All
Some
right,
random
anyway.
guy.
Carrera was satisfied with this blast. What she
Ah,
wasn't so
man,
satisfied with.
Jesus.
She better be.
Get
What
a
she
cigarette
wasn't
after
so
that
satisfied.
one.
Yeah,
I'm just
well, it was good
imagining
for you as a
Carrera just
wrestler.
like, oh.
All right, guys, let him finish up
Yeah.
these last
I
two
need to
paragraphs.
change
Repeat a little. Yeah.
Sorry.
He's got two
What she
more
wasn't so
paragraphs.
satisfied with was Agera, who was already back to his usual habits. He was the one who encouraged her to do it. Where did he get off trying to complain about it now? Still, Agera was expecting nothing quite on this scale. He did think it could wind up being trouble, yes, but not even he realized that Carrera had so much power. But dwelling on it at this point was a waste of time. The long-suffering Agera's troubles had just only begun.
Had only
Indeed,
just
Wow.
begun.
Lord.
All right.
Holy
so,
shit. Wow.
It is time to switch readers. Thank you.
Mm.
So
Thank
we're
you,
just
Ship.
done with phrasing, right?
You're
That's
very
not
welcome.
a thing anymore.
Wary.
God damn it. We
That
got
was
the sound
a
alert for
joy to read
phrasing.
all those descriptions.
All right.
That's
We
true.
are at 358 out of the 375. that we need to get
8%
to.
remaining.
Yep. So, with the traction that we made, let's slow things down and give it to Sonic. I'm gonna let you read. I'm gonna let you read for a little bit, but it's not gonna be too long. Cause
We're almost there.
we know.
You got this,
we
bud.
know
I believe in you.
It's okay to take your
Mm.
time, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Mm.
You don't have to rush and stumble over words this time. So take your time. We have maybe less than 20 pages left in this chapter.
All right.
We'll get
Yeah.
there.
Let me get back.
Mm.
We're going to stay up
Let me get
until we
back.
finish this fucking book because we don't
All
have
right.
a lot left to read.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Literally, this is all that's left in the book right now.
Hang on, I'm
That's
not looking
it.
at the capture. This way.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you
Okay.
gotta read.
Yeah,
That's all.
I'm reading the
We're-
rest of
we're
this.
about done.
No.
All
Yep.
right, go
We're
for
gonna
it.
try.
All right. All right. Geld smiled. That's it. We finished the chapter. Woo! No.
God,
Yay.
Yeah.
No, you should have read the
this
next
is-
sentence and then finish the chapter.
This is awesome! Ah, damn it! I should have.
Done.
You're right. Yeah, this was awesome. This book was amazing. All right, for real. Yes, he figured she'd be pretty strong, but oh god,
Carrera.
Carrera.
Carrera. Thank you. God, I can't
Carrera.
really. I'm forgetting names already. Carrera's might was simply unimaginable. Sure, didn't expect her to pick off that many with just one blow. Now none of us will have a chance to show our stuff. He sounded a touch sullen about it, but Gel didn't really mean what he said. The Imperial Army was still in a state of chaos, but there were still over 20,000 survivors. And they all were in a mad rush for Geld's army, trying desperately to escape the carnage. They were no longer heavily outnumbered. But now wasn't the time to let their guard down. Geld understood that well enough. After witnessing the horrors of death firsthand, all those troops were undoubtedly going to fight within an inch of their lives. The pressure they laid on should never have been taken lightly. But Geld was unfazed, and perhaps thanks to their commander's calm demeanor, all Geld's forces, right down to the lowest buck private, were at attention and sizing up the enemy. Shields up! Once the enemy was within spitting distance, Geld issued the solemn order. The second corps responded in perfect choreographed order.
Okay, I know it's spelled corpse, but it's pronounced core.
Core.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like
The
the Marine Corps.
No, yeah. I know,
it's-
but I
Yeah,
guess I
like-
just accidentally said
yeah.
the P.
That's okay.
Corpse.
The second corps.
That's what they wear on the ground.
The only yeah.
The second corps. Well, not if it was the other. If it was the Empire, yeah, that would be.
Hey,
more
that
appropriate.
corpse is
actually,
a. Hey,
yeah.
that corpse is a.
The
husband.
second corpses are up. I thought you crushed them though.
Hey, I'm sorry to hear about the Imperial Corpse. You mean the core? No.
No.
No, I know what
No,
I
I
said.
know what I said.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
What I
it's
said.
no, it was
Hey!
Sonic. He's just missaying it. No,
Hey.
I know what I said.
Hey, that corpse has a wife. You know what makes him a corpse husband?
That makes him
Yeah.
a dead. No. That makes him a deadbeat.
No, corpse husband
I
isn't
like that
a
one, too.
deadbeat. Come on, man.
I like both those.
And in the next moment, they began a wall that would allow nobody through. The fierce clash of army against army came the next instant. But despite that, Geld's forces didn't retreat a single step backwards as they engaged with the Empire. Even after that, Geld's wall didn't break down at any point along the line as it pushed the Imperials back. Now that's how. Now, oops.
No, that. There's no now. It's just that was how.
Yeah. That was how the final battle begun.
Began.
Now it was
Began, not begun.
Began.
Oh, began.
Yeah. There's
Now
a
it was
change in
Shion's
tense. If we say
I'm
begun.
getting in the. I'm getting hyped up. I'm getting.
You're
in the
already
mode.
like, man, this is so long ago.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
really
getting
in the
into it.
past.
I'm getting into it too much, probably.
Yeah, all right.
Mm.
But that's okay.
Now it was. Now it was Shion's turn to make a move.
Oh, God.
Apparently, this is a turn-based war.
Well,
Let's charge them!
Mm-hmm.
I want to slaughter every last one for Sir Rimuru's of Sir Rimuru's foes. Shion's elite guard, led by Team Reborn, roared their approval. At once, a good 10,000 Magic-Born of all shapes and sizes began to act as on their own discretion. These were Shion's most dead-hard fans,
Die Hard.
trained by the woman herself. Die-hard fans, trained by the woman herself, and being commanded by Team Reborn, and being commanded by Team Reborn allowed them to largely do as they pleased. They were a sizable army, and in a fight, they were good enough to turn heads. And not because Shion's really hot. Let's just get that out there. Shion's extra skill, mortal fear, united them with Team Reborn, making these 10,000 Magic-Born a legion of marauding knights of terror as they slammed into the Empire. Mortal fear fanned the enemy's fear, sapping them of their will to fight. The effects were tremendous. The enemy, no longer able to tap into their full abilities, left themselves exposed, open, and ready for Team Reborn to trample all over them. Wearing matching sets of bluish-purple armor forged by Graham, Shion's forces rampaged. Garm? Oh, sorry. Garm. Shion's forces rampaged across the battlefield. To the Imperial army, the mere sight was nightmarish. But three giants among them, each exuding a ridiculously large aura of dark energy, caught most of their. Oops, I have a problem with this comment. Sorry.
Oh,
each exuding a ridiculously large energy or aura of dark energy, caught most of their attention. Their own aura was assimilated with Shion's mortal fear, turning them into living incarnation of violence. They were, of course, the three sons of the demon lord, Daggerel. I'm hoping I say that name right. I'm trying to make sure.
You
Yeah! Daggerel.
Yeah.
Yay! Anyway. Really breaking the tension here, sorry.
You're good.
But the rest of the guard wasn't about to be undone. Taking full advantage of their resistance to death, Team Reborn focused on keeping the enemy's attention. As they did, the other Magic-Born would dispatch the exposed foes. That was the basic strategy, and it let them steadily cut through their enemies without taking any damage. Gobzo.
Gobzo.
Gobzo. I was
Gobzo.
thinking that too, but I was like, nope. Gobzo was among them. Oh, my head's getting itchy. Despite his casual observation, there was a stab wound in his head from where someone struck a sword in it. Okay. The way it closed up, bit by bit, was gruesome to see if you weren't used to it. Way to keep at it, Gobza. Yeah, if I took that blow, it would have killed me, huh? Gobza has grown a lot. Enough that his troops were truly impressed. With him, sorry. Turn page. In the meantime, 3 cyclones began to form on the battlefield. One of Dagrel's sons in the eyes of each one. One of Dagrel's sons in the eyes of each one. It was from those landmarks that the Empire left wing began collapsing. Members of Shion's elite guard weren't about to miss that chance. And now the Imperials were being pushed back at breakneck speeds. God, what the hell? Even the Empire's troops, desperate and running on pure adrenaline, were no match for them. The two sides were more or less evenly matched in terms of individual combat ability, but one side was far better trained than the other. And in terms of skill level, the elite guard had a clear upper hand. What kind of training did it take to make this happen? Somewhere along the line, Shion's troops had transformed into an amazing, well-honed, specialized combat force. As Shion was making a name for herself on the right wing, the Imperial army was facing even more trouble on its own right side. No! What are they? Why are they here? Ah! The Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance? No, I don't want to die! The Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance troops were servicing as reinforcements. Along the other...
Yeah, serving, not servicing.
Damn it.
Servicing means something a little bit different.
Servicing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you keep it, when you understand that the Beastmaster Warrior Alliance is actually being led by Snake Girl, who is really got a thing for Benimaru.
Who doesn't at this point? I thought
say
Soe
she's gonna
had
polish his sword, okay?
Yeah.
You know, that's the great thing about snakes. They don't have gag reflexes.
Find the dragon. Find the dragon buried within.
Rock
What's
the dragon.
in that metaphor. Chlamydia.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
The Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance troops were servicing as reinforcements alongside the other magic. Servicing.
No,
reinforcements.
Serving.
Damn it!
Like 3 times.
Serving. Okay.
Oh my god!
I don't know why I don't do this.
Get your mind out of the gutter, guy.
I'm not. You can put us in the gutter mood. Don't you talk? Anyway. The Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance. Okay. The Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance troops were serving as reinforcements alongside the other Magicborn who served Carrion.
Carrion.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Just think of him as your wayward son.
At least they weren't
Carrion.
At least
basically.
Hey, at least they weren't servicing Carrion.
Yeah.
God, imagine my blooper reel whenever I do any voice acting for you guys.
Oh, it's gonna be so great.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I want to be a voice actor, despite the fact that I can't really read.
Damn. It's I swear, this is the only thing that makes about this much, actually. They all owed Rimuru a great favor, and now that they were exercising their full powers to pay it back. That's one hell of a monster. It is. Zol, the elephant beastman, who wholeheartedly agreed with Alvis, thank you, with Alvis's muttered remark. A magic spell like none they had seen or heard of before was deploying before their very eyes. Discord freaking tripped me up there.
Specifically Tony, too.
Yeah, Tony tripped me up there. I know that word. Literally, Tony tripped me up there.
What the fuck?
Because
What did he
my
do?
peripheral like went over to the corner. I was
Tony
like, damn
just
it,
sent
Tony.
a thing out to Fat Dog Crew for some reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna Tony. I'm gonna message you. I was like, Tony, you fucked me up. I was doing so good too.
What did he?
Damn it, Tony!
Let me
Someone
see.
clip that. I don't care. Alright. A magic spell like none they had seen or heard of before was deploying before their very eyes. An ominous pillar connecting heaven and earth had just reduced more than 100,000 Imperial troops to dust. Even now, its violent fury was battering the landscape, never diminishing. With that blow, victory was now assured. The only remaining question was whether the enemy had any true champions left hiding in their ranks. They wanted to know, and that was why they refused to let the enemy escape in this fight. Alva's fully aware of how open-hearted and generous Rimuru could usually be, was honestly shocked at how thorough they were with this policy. But at the same time, she believed it was how a demon lord should act. Well, we rolled in with 20,000 troops, and it looks like they've overwhelmed them anyway. We can't exactly call it paying him back if it's going to be like this, said Alvis. Ah, as if we could ever repay him in any true sense. True enough. Well, we shouldn't sadden Sir Reamer at least. Dying here is out of the question. Do everything in your power to ensure nobody's hurt. You heard him. You heard him, everyone. Take your pride serving as demon. Whoa. Take your pride serving the... Let me try that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pride servicing the Beastmaster.
God damn it!
Everything.
I knew you'd say servicing!
Was that on purpose? That was on purpose, wasn't it?
Yeah, that one was on purpose.
Motherfucker.
That better have been on purpose. That was
That was
beautiful.
on purpose, service.
Okay, good. Even if
Alright.
it wasn't, that's still hilarious.
Okay, no.
Come on, man! You've got one page to go!
Servicing
okay,
Beastmaster. Yeah.
Serving. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Anyway, you heard him, everyone. Take your pride serving the Beastmaster and do everything you can until the bitter end. The Beastmaster's Warrior Alliance answered Zol's roar with one of their own. Not a moment later, the Beast Folk began their march on the Imperial Army's right flank. By this point, the trend was abruptly clear.
Abundantly.
Magic
Abundantly.
was abundantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of cuts off, sorry. Abundantly clear. Magic was rampaging across the rear.
Yeah, giggity.
I'm sure it was.
I knew I stopped there exactly because I knew one of you was going to do it. We are 12.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice cock.
Okay.
And they were being overrun on the left and right side. The Imperial Army had little option left, apart from waiting for their foe to surrender and exterminate them. Molly Mile eyed the situation.
No, Momiji.
Momiji? Oh,
Yeah, Molly Mile doesn't fight. He's the guy in charge of, like, finances.
Yeah, no.
Molly Mile eyed
way.
the situation. It's like, war is profit. Let's see how much profit we can make.
Oh,
here.
no, war is profitable.
Oh, yes.
Money.
Yeah.
Momiji
Especially if you're
eyed
an
the situation.
arms dealer.
Yes. And Momiji is now eyeing the situation. Her eyes cold. Her head was calm, but her heart was burning fiercely. It's about time now. Allow me to ignite flames of compassion to relieve our enemy of their suffering. With that, I should have whispered it, dang it.
Oh, well.
With that
was
whisper,
okay.
she sent a signal to Gobta. Or not Gobta.
Gobwa.
Goba. Gobwa.
Gobwa. There you go.
Gobwa. What are these
Gobwa.
names?
These nuts.
God. The moment she did, the 4th Army Corps breathed in unison, summoning their mystic force. The order cascaded across Team Kurenai via Gobwa's thought communication. And, as if in response, the mystic force created by everyone steamed across the army.
Stream.
Harmonized.
Streamed, yeah.
Streamed.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Streamed across the army, harmonized in beautiful fashion. It was Momiji's job to give all this power a conduit. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Are you sure this will work? A slightly worried Gobwa asked. Momiji laughed the idea off. If I'm to be Sir Benimaru's wife, could I not be capable of this much? There was an unshakable confidence in her attitude. Her plan, in essence, was to gather this mystic force into a single presence, then lob it straight at the enemy army. Kind of like a spirit bomb.
Yep, that's what I was about to say.
It was a simple, unadored strategy, but if she failed to unify that force correctly, it might trigger an unintended explosion that could damage Guild's force on the front line. Gobwa's unease was natural, but in the face of Momiji's confidence, she commented on it no further. Momiji had been entrusted with this army as Benimaru's substitute, and to doubt her, would be to doubt this, and to doubt her would be the same as doubting Benimaru. All right, I'll leave that to you. Then. Are you ready to begin? Yes. This won't be as powerful as the vicious magic Carrera cast, but it should be enough for the remaining forces. I'm going to finish this with one blow. I'm going to finish this with one punch.
Yep.
Cue my intro song.
Anyway.
Yeah. God, now I want that playing as I'm saying the rest of this. Then Momiji's once-in-a-lifetime mystic spell made its debut. Let us bloom a red lotus that softly, gently envelops our enemies. Mystic Crimson Heaven! I feel like I could do that one better. Mystic Crimson Heaven!
Dude, we gotta keep moving. We have
I know.
of time.
It was a red flower blooming in the sky. Its first objective was to rapidly burn through oxygen, draining it from the air at ground level and leaving the enemy incapacitated. The second objective was to rain down the flames of compassion, its temperature high enough to render targets unconscious before it can inflict pain. The third objective was to ferret out the strongest among their forces. If anyone could withstand this attack, they'd have been classified as strong, naturally, making this mystic art a great way to weed out the time wasters. So, the blooming flower fell upon the battlefield, and at the end of it, nobody was left alive.
Why was I just picturing like a crimson burning bloomin' onion just falling down on top of the like just a giant bloomin' onion?
It's just gotta peel open,
and
everyone's just on top of everything else. They're just crying.
I just see Melania's flower thing. The fucking.
Yeah.
I just imagine just a giant rose flower, just it unfolds and just crushes.
That's
everybody.
the one thing I'm sad we didn't do while you guys were up here, Moon. Kind of wanted to go to Outback Steakhouse and get a bloomin' onion.
Those are nice.
Because we can order that. We can order that to go.
Tasty.
Yeah, you could order that in advance.
They're pretty good.
Oh yeah, bloomin' onions are fucking fantastic. Anyway, sorry.
Put on a burger too. Anyway.
Oh, well, that's a letdown. It was to be expected. Perhaps the last group to enter the labyrinth was far more powerful than any before it. They might have been the best elites in the Empire had to offer. Seems like it. Now all we have left is the enemy's command HQ. I'm sure that has been taken care of by now. Besides... All right. Carrera's servant was heading over there, wasn't he? And I'm certain nobody at the HQ could be a match for him.
Alrighty. Moon, you're taking over now. We are at 365. Not far away.
I did it! Eat shit.
Caligulio had received a stream of desperate reports. He really didn't need them. The catastrophe was happening right before his eyes, and the only silver lining was that, since it happened so fast, they were able to die without feeling any fear or regret. Meanwhile, the survivors of the fearsome magic had fled back to the main camp with terror in their eyes. Having experienced the soul-crushing horror firsthand, they lost all trust in the Empire, cursing their own foolishness. There was no time for fancy speeches as the staff officers shouted for retreat, but at this point, Survival was impossible. How did this happen? Should I have chosen enslavement instead? No. Where did I even go wrong in the first place? He tried his hardest to cease his looping thoughts, but failed. Once again, he looked out at the desperate battlefield, considering whatever possible strategies he could take by now. There was nothing, no saving grace that he could ever come up with at this moment. And more to the point, no. What's that? What is that? Caligulio was tossed into a crucible of fear and confusion. Magic that heinous was beyond what he was capable of understanding. How could you take tens of thousands of soldiers protected by layer and layer of anti-magic resistance and kill them all like you'd squash an anthill? Nearly 200,000 troops were utterly destroyed with just one blow, and it'd only be a matter of time before the rest were wiped out. Maybe what? It's still a theoretical magic spell, but I know about one that interacts with the gravity of the planet. It's likely the most devastating magic in the nuclear family, but it requires an enormous amount of energy to activate, and every step requires exacting control. Ghidorah told me about it once. Gravity collapse, right? Yes, Caligulio had heard about it. It was a spell that was still under research, merely a theory at this point in time. No example of it had ever been observed before, and even with otherworldly knowledge, research was at a standstill, even in the theoretical phase. This tactical level magic had the power to annihilate entire nations, not just battlefields. But as far as Caligulio knew, they had concluded that it'd be impossible to ever conjure it in real life. But here it was, executed in perfect fashion by a single monster. Now the term Demon Lord struck Caligulio's brain with a palpable sense of fear. Have we meddled with someone who we never should have meddled with? He asked himself. The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
I admire your knowledge, sir.
That's a big old fuck yeah.
It was at this moment that they knew.
He fucked up.
He fucked
Yeah,
up.
he really should have known long before.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
But nah.
God, how many times is that going to be played during this scene?
I admire your knowledge, sir. The matter-of-fact tone of one of his staff officers brought him back to reality. But it's theoretical, he shouted back in frustration. We were boasting about how we could slaughter Veldora if we made it work. Indeed, sir.
It was just a
That's how
theory.
powerful. A magic theory.
An anime theory.
This whole war could basically be summed up as a multitude of battles that can best be described as, and then they fucked around and found out.
Very much so.
Oh, yes.
Pay attention, kids.
Indeed, sir.
You don't,
That's how
you don't want to
powerful.
be these guys.
That's how powerful that magic is. It's practically limitless. At some point, the staff officers had polarized into two separate camps. It was, or no,
Excuse me.
it was from a monster? Just one of them could perform a magic that massive? Some were in a state of panic. Astounding. I'll write a research paper on this when I get home. Now we too can get our hands on that spell. And some were battling
Really?
at each other like madmen. One side had lost the will to fight. The other had lost their grip on reality. At this point, the Empire's command HQ was no longer functional. Nothing in the world could be done in the midst of these horrifying circumstances. But nonetheless, Caligulio was in command. He was responsible for the lives of what soldiers he had left. Throwing in the towel was the one thing he could never do, but the situation was no longer conducive to ordering a retreat. Counting the crazed troops who fled the front lines, there was less than 2,000 men and women left in the main camp. They were chaotic, disorderly, and even if they somehow made it out of there, they were all doomed to be slaughtered. Power. Power was the one thing Caligulio wished for right now. If you have power, all is forgiven. The iron rule the Empire always stuck to. Only through the overwhelming power they had was it possible for them to subjugate the whole world. But if you didn't have power, you were doomed to face a tragic end, something that was obvious, given Caligulio's current situation. As one of the three commanders at the top of the Empire, he was proud to be one of the world's great power brokers, but now he finally realized it was all an illusion. I can't believe how powerless I really was. How incompetent. How weak. I had no idea I was such a miserable peon, constantly being exploited. He couldn't help but lament his fate. Fortune, fame, and everything that came with them were worthless in his current circumstances.
I'm sorry. That was an appropriately placed sentence. Fortune, fame, the king of the pirates had all of these things.
Gold Roger, the king of the pirates, had all this and more.
Bad.
When you got into serious trouble, there were far, far more important things you needed at hand. I wish I had power. Large tears spilled from Caligulio's eyes. Nearly 1 million soldiers, people who believed in the glory of the Empire and the commander who led them, were dead. The impact of this undeniable truth was devastating him. Of course my voice cracks. Reporting, sir. A huge flame was observed in the sky above the battlefield. Based on the amount of heat it generated, we believe the chances that anyone on the ground survived it are hopeless. It's over. No. It's over. Caligulio's first officer muttered. The Empire's been completely defeated. The rest of the staff fell silent. Even the ones trying to escape reality a moment ago were stunned, as if waking up from a dream. Hold on. Oh, okay.
You too, huh?
Yeah. They tried to face the reality that awaited them, but their brains refused to accept it. Let's offer our surrender. Whether they'll accept it is a gamble, but there's a chance they'll find us useful. At this rate, we're all going to be killed anyway. I think it's our only chance for survival. But what do you think? Better to be enslaved than dead. That was the thought behind this officer's proposal, although he worried it was coming far too late. Nonetheless, Caligulio decided to accept the offer. Right. Yes, it may be pointless, but let's try to negotiate. At the very least, if we can turn the enemy's attention toward us, that'll give Misha and her comrades a better chance at escaping. Ever the optimist.
Well.
Hang
Even
on,
if this-
we're about to find out.
Well.
Even if this battle ended with them all dying, their defeat would still have meaning if the Empire received the information they learned. That thought alone made Caligulio reluctantly agree. Pardon. It was uncharacteristically modest of him, but his heart had long since been shattered. Admittedly, thanks to this, he was able to think once more about the best course of action in this situation. If he had gained this state of mind earlier, it would have made him a master general for the ages, no doubt. It took him fully abandoning his greed and vanity to accomplish, but at long last, Caligulio had regained his original latent intelligence. But the decision came far too late. Any hope for Caligulio and his staff had long since disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Surrender? Oh, we can't have that now, can we? I'm afraid you'll have to deal with me for a few moments. Diablo, who had actually been in the tent for some time now.
Wait, what? How
Yeah! Diablo's literally
Well.
been standing in
Well.
the tent listening to all of this.
Well, and he's the
He's
one
just got-
going, well, look who finally decided to
He's
give
just
up.
got like a fucking lampshade over his face, and that's it. And he's in the corner.
No, they just
Yeah,
weren't
he's
Like, he's been
Oh.
waiting for this moment. He's like,
Oh
now
my
he's casting his own, like, menacing shadow or lighting effect. Like, ah!
No,
How long have you been-
no, I just love that. He's just pouring tea into a cup menacingly.
Oh my god!
Menacingly.
Like, at
God.
this point, everyone's like, oh.
So that is basically just.
Oh,
getting
no.
information
to
from-
whoever just followed, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for the
Thanks,
follow.
welcome aboard.
Heck yeah, we're too
Okay.
busy worrying about our demon guy over here
Oh
about
no,
to murder us.
Spider joined
Yeah,
as
sub.
a
Oh,
Hiding in the corner.
he subbed. Thank you for the tier
You're no
one.
longer a Dave.
spider
thank you.
spider demon,
No.
radioactive spider demon,
Or a new sub either. You're
spider
continuing
sub,
your sub. but
spider
thank you
sub.
thank you for the 17 months. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, continuing on.
Yes.
Diablo, who had actually been in the tent for some time now, was dressed in his usual butler's uniform, a smile on his handsome face. The moment he saw the demon, Caligulio realized the sheer difference in power between them. Now that he had regained his calm judgment skills, he wasn't going to throw away his life for the sake of a trivial pride. Negotiation came first now, so he had his guards lower their swords. That was undoubtedly the right thing to do. Any attempts at a fight were futile. Out the corner of his eye, Caligulio spotted Krishna, cowering and intoning, I can't, over and over. Just like the commander, he must have immediately recognized the overwhelming difference in strength. Internally praising himself for making the right decision, Caligulio decided to identify himself first. My name is Caligulio. I am the commander of this operation. May I ask your name? Oh, how polite of you. My name is Diablo, loyal servant of the demon lord Rimuru. Diablo loved giving people his name. He couldn't look more cheerful right now.
Yeah, he's like, he's doing the slow,
Yes,
Yep.
slow glide.
My
up
name
with
is
his
Diablo.
hand. Oh, yeah.
You insulted my master. Prepare to die.
Prepare to
exactly. I mean, you're
yeah.
not wrong.
Yeah,
to
You
absolutely.
are
That is
not
absolutely
wrong.
what it would be. Oh my god.
You have
Caligulio took a
insulted my
moment.
master.
Caligulio took a moment to think. There was little chance they could beat Diablo, even if everybody in Command HQ jumped him en masse. The sheer demonic energy they sensed was denser than that of the greatest of dragons, an aura of utter supremacy that outclassed even that of the demon lord Clayman, whom Caligulio was acquainted with. Plus, Diablo came here without giving away any hint of his presence. He had infiltrated their HQ without showing any sign of the supreme aura that oozed off him now. But despite such an absolutely powerful presence before him, Caligulio's mind was tranquil. This is an opportunity for us. It sounds like he won't accept our surrender, but he is willing to negotiate. If we can buy enough time, maybe we can keep this dangerous man at bay for long enough. And that would offer more safety for Misha and the other escapees. But that hope was doomed to fail. Are you trying to stall for time, perhaps?
I'm just imagining
What?
him like I'm just imagining him like
Just with a bit of tea.
Just a little bit of tea, and he's just moving a spoon through a cup of tea.
Like,
He's like,
Oh.
yeah, this-
Are you trying to
trying
buy
to stall for
time,
time?
perhaps?
How cute!
How cute! Oh.
He's going freeze. You're going
Yeah.
freeze on it.
He's like the fucking
How cute.
owl. He's like the owl in Hell of a Boss.
oh,
He
Stolas.
is.
Stolas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Stolas the owl.
Stolas.
Yeah,
Ah.
he's like Stolas the
Oh.
owl. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
How cute!
You
Yeah.
think you have any sway over me here now?
Yeah.
What? Several of your people fled from here, and you're serving as decoys for them. A truly excellent example of self-sacrifice, but I'm afraid it's not going to help you. You see, I've already taken care of them. Diablo laughed. When a demon comes up to you, he'll never let his prey go, and Diablo just proved it. Out of empty space, he produced 2 corpses and dumped them on the ground. Are those the single digits? Oh no, that's Krishna. Are those the single digits? I have to fake yell. I hate it.
It's okay. It
Yeah.
still carries the intensity that was needed.
Yeah.
A shocked Krishna shouted. They were the bodies of Bernie and Jiwoo. Intense fear ran through the command center. Krishna wasn't the only one left speechless.
I no longer need your financial support. Your life
Because
support.
he is dead.
Your life support, however.
Because your finance. Because I've destroyed your banks.
I need your support.
I am once again asking for your life support.
Please.
Well,
Oh God.
Oh man, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
No, you're good. You're good. Everybody in the tent knew what the defeat of not 1 but 2 single digits meant. There was no beating Diablo, and not just that. No, in that case, our deaths and the deaths of all the soldiers, it's going to be all for nothing. A deep despair struck Caligulio. Draw your swords! Intruder! Kill the intruder! The guards responded to the second-in-command's frenzied shouting. Unlike Krishna, the armed sentries knew nothing about Diablo's strength, reacting without realizing just how reckless they were being. You lowly worms think you stand a chance against me. Diablo laughed at their faces, but Caligulio's aide was undeterred. Silence, demon! There's still over 1,000 warriors surrounding you. Powerful or not, what can you do by yourself? He was trying his best to mask his fear with rage, but Caligulio didn't move. He wanted to scream at his assistant to stop, but he couldn't even open his mouth any longer. His aide thought 1,000 against 1 were good odds, but they weren't, and he had to tell him, but he couldn't. Now Caligulio thought he understood what strength was, what Emperor Ludora wanted from them all. A single powerful figure can triumph over a 1,000,000-strong army. The extreme, unthinkable magic they just saw was proof of that. And if they had even one monster capable of killing 2 single digits, the entire armored division was easily crushable this whole time. And if he needed any more evidence... I'm afraid those words came a little too late. The only ones still alive in this camp, you understand, are all inside this tent. The aide didn't understand what he meant for a moment. But Caligulio didn't need to open a tent flap.
Bro, it hasn't even been 5 minutes and they've wiped out their entire fucking forces.
Like, I just imagine he says that, like, everyone else, the only people who are alive are all inside this tent. On cue, you just see a pool of blood start to leak in.
Oh,
that would be cool.
That would be terrifying.
Oh dear, my shoes
like from
are
all
getting
sides.
Yeah, like he's completely
Yeah,
like clean, but then like a little bit of a touch, and like, oh god, my shoes.
Or no,
so
it starts pooling in, but like close to
right.
Diablo in the center.
So Moon, you were.
Oh
asking,
yeah, so let's make a circle.
Moon, you were asking a question of me that kind of relates to Konosuba and like a character who is also attached to slime, and we were talking about the timeline in slime where that would have happened and split off and everything. That's next book.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty far in. It's at volume 14. We've only covered up to like what, volume 6 so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute, guys. 2 seasons only
Hot,
covered 6
hot minute.
volumes. Hot minute. Slime doesn't move like Mushoku Tensei.
It moves like a volcano that hasn't erupted in a few years.
Mushoku Tensei does 2 seasons and it covers 12 volumes.
And yet we still haven't even gotten to the 3rd turning point, I think.
No, we haven't. That's in volume 12. It gets good. By the way, guys, new book, the new volume of Slime drops next month.
Yay!
So, all right, continuing on.
Crimbus, close to Crimbus.
Crimbus. Pretty close
It was
to
too
Crimbus.
quiet
I think
outside.
It's the 12th. Yeah.
It was too quiet outside. Something that had been nagging at him for a little while now. Diablo snapped his fingers, and then the entire tent was blown away, letting the occupants examine the scene outside.
Ugh.
Oh, it was a field piled high with dead bodies. The soldiers in all passed, as if sleeping on top of each other, as if someone had silently extracted their souls from each of them. That's exactly what happened, Caligulio realized. Diablo took their souls. He didn't let a single one resist him. And now, once again, the tragedy played itself out before Caligulio's eyes. Another snap of Diablo's fingers, and Krishna and the others toppled over. Waves of despair and sadness crested across the commander's heart. Oh wait, no, that's screaming. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He screamed, shedding tears of blood. And right after that, his body was so saturated with emotions that he exploded.
And
Boy,
then
good thing
look
I
at
didn't
that-
read that. I would have gone way wrong.
Look at that picture.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an
damn
interesting
good
protagonist.
picture.
Hello, protagonist of this book.
Funny story. Not the protagonist.
Well,
No.
yeah, that's true.
Oddly
He's a
enough,
sideshow.
the protagonist is
protagonist.
way less useful on his own.
Yeah. All right, so we
Oh.
are pretty close to finishing this chapter now. We're on 371, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4 more
pages
% left.
5 pages.
We're halfway
left
through from
in
progress
the
we made.
chapter, and then I'll pick up with the epilogue. So finish up the chapter,
Okay.
man.
Diablo had no reason to allow any enemy soldiers to escape in the first place. After receiving the order from Rimuru, Diablo merrily strode out to the battlefield.
As you do.
It's a
As
beautiful
you
mental
do.
image. You just like,
Oh, I can! Yay!
yeah. Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. And
And do you
everything that's
believe in
Oh my
magic?
God.
Yes! I was thinking the same thing.
In Diablo's heart!
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
The music is free
Oh.
and the reamer's heart is magic.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
After
God.
receiving the order from Rimuru, Diablo merrily strode onto the battlefield.
He's doing like the
He's skipping along. You never see him do
Yep.
this.
Just tiptoe through the
Yeah.
Come on.
with me.
and it's just like a decaying guy's face. It's like yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you.
That's how you
Okay.
do it. You just have a horrible scene played over by beautiful music.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
No, very like Baby Shark or something.
Like
Just something
very
really
No.
stupid.
no. Diablo
Maybe not
is-
Baby Shark, but
Diablo's not Goku and Goten. Okay.
Yeah, it's different.
No.
He's
He's
Pyro
rolling
from
out there
TF2.
listening to Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow.
he's imagining
Not that
Rimuru
one, the other
raising
one.
I don't
him
know.
and
Guys, think of the
giving him head
ukulele
pats.
one.
No, even better.
I see skies of blue.
Red roses.
Clouds white.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I'll
my
think
God.
to
To
myself,
myself,
too.
what a wonderful. Oh, actually, no, it would be. And I think to myself.
I see slimes of blue.
There you go. Write that down. Write that down.
No.
Oh, my God.
I come up with
We'll
one
put a
line.
pin
and-
on that one for season. I don't know. 6.
I come up with one line, and you guys are like, "Make a song out of that." I'm like, "God damn it!"
No. I'm not saying make a song. I'm saying put a thing on. Right. Make a note of that for when we ever get to a bridge. Season 6 or whatever this would be.
Oh no,
gotta- we
this is
gotta do
probably
that.
going to be way further than that. We're probably on 7.
Yeah,
at
that's
least.
why I ballparked that. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
we'll
still.
see.
Anyway.
We'll
And
see.
it's
Well,
gonna be
actually,
exactly this too. Just like, hey Diablo, go for a walk.
Here's the thing. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
I think our next season is probably going to cover 7, 8, and 9, because we'll have the second match with Hinata and all that stuff that happened in Volume
Right.
7, and then the Tempest Founders Festival. That's what will happen. We'll get the Tempest Founders Festival, and then finally, I think in season 4 we'll get, we'll probably get 10, 11, and 12. And then no, you're right. Season 5 will probably start off with this.
I said 6, but
Oh, okay. No, season 5 will probably start off with 13, and then we get 14 and 15. And boy,
and there's no
everything
doubt that there's
happens-
going to be like another season.
Oh
of Slime.
boy, everything that happens, because the war is like everything that happens with Tempest just escalates higher and higher. You're like
the fact that they just came out with an
Reamer's-
OVA
Yeah,
proves
Reamer's just kind of OP, and then you realize, oh, no, he kind of has to be, because there's a shit ton of stuff out there that's like way more powerful.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I was crazy once.
All right.
Crazy like a fish.
Following the signs of Krishna that he had detected, he discovered the enemy's command tent and took a look inside. Then he was accosted by Bernie and Jiwoo. But since he had no intention of letting any Empire soldiers escape, he quickly opted to deal with them on the spot. Just imagine that, just like, tent. Oh, hi guys.
Oh, hello.
All right.
Some fun here, you know.
Oh, God. They were much stronger than he thought. Well. Even with my unique skills turned to maximum, these two remain unaffected. But it appears their powers are borrowed from someone else. They are unbalanced, you could say. I doubt they've actually awakened to any of these abilities. And if they haven't, I can still work with this. Despite his slight puzzlement, Diablo was still reliably in command from start to finish as he dispatched the 2 single digits. Misha, who came over in a hurry once she saw what was going on, quickly revealed that she was working for Yuki. Rimuru had tacit agreement to fight alongside Yuki, and Diablo would never go against his will. So he let her go free. But were those ultimate skills they had? I still resent how much Guy bragged about his to me long ago, but perhaps this is worth investigating. Diablo was never one to shy away from any chance to become stronger, and here, too, he abandoned all self-restraint. If he found something effective, he'd take advantage of it. That's how the demon was. But despite this newfound interest in ultimate skills, he didn't lose sight of his mission. Returning to the Empire's camp, he easily made his way inside, invoking End of the World to take the lives of anyone he saw. He worked quickly, indiscriminately, and without any hesitation or concern as he slaughtered them all.
Wait till they describe
Oh my
what End of the
God.
World actually is. Because here's the thing. We've seen the 3 demonesses using nuclear magic. Diablo's End of the World makes that shit look like a parlor trick.
And
Jesus
cleaner,
Christ.
too.
It is cleaner. It is because he does what the butler does, and he tidies up.
Yeah,
Jesus.
all the ladies, they just like to have a shower of blood. Diablo, he's just like...
Diablo kills them all without damaging the environment around him.
He's an environmentalist.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He believes. He
He's
believes
even
in
feeding the soil.
Look. He's all about the Christmas spirit. He believes in a greener and redder future.
He's a green. He's an environmentalist.
Paint
Like
the world
you
green and
three
red.
just
Yes.
are so wasteful with and
Yes.
showy with your stuff.
I mean, he buttles. It's what he does.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do what the
buttles.
butler does and
Tidy
tidy up.
up. Exactly.
Yep.
Pill time.
Speaking of
Caligulio was
which-
now screaming. Caligulio was now screaming in front of Diablo. It made the demon chuckle a bit. The commander had now surpassed all limits of the human body. Maybe he had the potential to do this all along. By this point, he was well past enlightened, his energy growing higher and higher. Awakening out of sheer despair, eh? It looks like his sense of guilt is bringing him to a higher level, and that makes him much more worthy to fight me. For most of his existence, Diablo had little interest in gaining strength, but now he thirsted for it. Also, he could be a helpful servant or tool for Rimuru, the lord who he served. In his mind, a tool was meaningless unless it could prove its usefulness to its master. Needless tools had no value in existing, as far as he was concerned. That was why Diablo never fielded any of his own servants. He always preferred to live alone, rather than put up with a bunch of incompetents below him. Along those lines, Diablo never forgot his own ambitions to become stronger, more capable, and fighting someone as strong as this was an opportunity like none other for him. As Caligulio heard what seemed like a distant scream, he awoke. Power coursed through his veins, a ferocious power like none he had ever experienced. Overwhelming, he thought. The answer, despair and terror from having his friends killed became the key to shattering his own limitations. And this, right now, was exactly what Emperor Ludora was anticipating from him all along. He actually said it to Caligulio in person once. I have high hopes.
No, he's becoming
for
Super
you.
Saiyan.
Kind of. Caligulio
Yeah, it's
had never
Frieza.
forgotten that day. He thought His Majesty meant that he'd become an army commander and serve the Empire with value, but he misinterpreted the Emperor's words. This was it. This was it the whole time. His Majesty Emperor Ludora wanted me to awaken. And then he realized that, when he realized that, he understood. Everything that had happened to him up until then really was meaningful. Caligulio was no longer just enlightened. He had become a saint. Every cell in his body blended together, his spirit surpassing his physical form. He could easily tell that his body was being remade, transformed. The power was tremendous, on par with an awakened demon lord. And now that he was awakened to it, he realized just how incompetent he had been until now. Not just him, everyone. Not just him, everyone. With this, now at his fingertips, the entire armored division seemed like a bunch of cheap toys. The Empire's military, as it stood now and before, never had a chance of beating Veldora, nor any demon lord. I was such a fool. You're exactly right. But now I swear I'll make up for all my mistakes. The moment he shouted that, a shining suit of divine armor wrapped itself around his body. It was God-class armor, handed down from the time of ancient gods and gifted to him from the Emperor. Only the Marshal and the 3 commanders were allowed to use his armor, which served as proof that its wearer ranked among the Empire's very best. Now, at long last, it had recognized Caligulio as its true master. "You'll pay for this, demon. I'm gonna mow you down." It would hardly be fun otherwise. The 2 sides glared at each other, and the final battle began. Exercising the limits of his power, Caligulio sent out a full-throttle strike to start. His fist, protected by a gauntlet, was a deadly weapon in itself, capable of smashing through almost any material in this world. The tip of his fist exceeded the speed of sound, not even leaving an after-image as it traversed the realms of mythology. The shockwave it produced shattered any physical being's defense, destroying its very molecular bonds, and the spirit inside his fist could pass through the heart's barrier and damage one's astral body, letting him kill any spiritual life form. Caligulio knew Diablo's name. He was one of Rimuru's Big Four, and his real identity was an evil demon. That, and, incredibly enough, the report he saw claimed he was now a demon peer, something that existed only in legend before. He had previously scoffed at the Imperial Information Bureau's investigations, but he could believe every word of that dossier. If 2 single digits challenged Diablo and died, that made him a truly fearsome adversary. But all his fear was now gone. "He's a horrible demon, I'll grant you that. But now I can take him. With this power, I can defeat anything. True dragons, demon lords, even heroes."
Whoa! Let's not get crazy. Number one,
I
think you are, Skywalker?
We don't do that here.
Number one, this motherfucker could not take on a true dragon.
No.
Rimuru's stronger than this son of a bitch. He reached Saint class. You know who was also Saint class? Hinata.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
So.
and Rimuru is stronger than that. So this motherfucker can't take on a true demon lord. This motherfucker would not last 5 minutes with Gi. Much less taking on a true dragon. Boy, you'd be fucked. You'd be so fucked. All right.
Who could he take on?
He could fight Hinata.
Hinata down. That's it.
Yeah.
Probably.
So anything above Hinata, basically.
He could literally
No, anything below
Take
Hinata.
anything above Hinata.
Oh, below? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything below her.
Anything
Or
below
her, but I don't know.
No, anything below her, and right now, I would say that where she's at, she would probably have the edge.
Yeah, because all she has to do is hit him 7 times and then he's dead.
Oh no,
She's
that
got her
sword
sword.
is
That's
gone.
just with the sword.
That
no.
sword is gone.
Oh, that's right. It got destroyed. So.
Okay, so pre that.
But
with the
she
sword.
but she got a new one, and it's even scarier.
Yeah.
It only requires 2.
Cool.
Not to mention now that Valentine, Demon Lord Valentine is actually working directly with her, and she got a power up from that time that she came back from being alongside Chloe in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she crazy powered up. Anyway.
If you awarded a score of 1 to a person of average strength, the physical ability of someone designated A rank would be at least 10. For a high-ranked Magicborn, it was closer to 100. For an archdemon, they'd notch up 140. A demon lord would probably be at least 300. And while a true dragon was impossible to measure, estimates pinned it at over 1,000. Now Caligulio realized his own power was in the quadruple digits as well. A world that only a saint could ever reach. And that wasn't all. He was wearing god-class armor, mythical gear whose energy was comparable to his own. It was more than enough to be able to destroy a demon peer. He was convinced of that, and it wasn't hard to see why. A tad disappointing. But his killer fist was lightly brushed away by Diablo. "No!" "Oh, do you have a question?" Why Why are you still unharmed? That one blow should have been able to destroy any demon. Seeing him unscathed was simply ridiculous. He refused to accept it. Why? No, wait.
No, why?
Why? It's simple. You don't have the skill level required to handle that power. The awful truth.
Oh.
Skill
Get good,
issue.
scrub.
Literal skill issue.
The awful truth was delivered as casually as the day's weather. The skill level? Yes. It's quite a pity for me, too. It was too early for you to fight. If this is how things are, the duo from before were more powerful. They both boasted ultimate skills, albeit borrowed. If you had awakened to this power sooner than now, this would have been a much more exciting battle. But alas. Fruit needs to ripen before it tastes sweet. Diablo was lamenting the fact that he picked this one off the tree far too soon. But all this was an insult Caligulio was too loath to admit. God damn it! Don't you belittle me, you demon bastard! He could shout all he wanted, but the situation was already grim. Caligulio understood that. He knew he couldn't beat the demon in front of him. But what piqued his curiosity was the secret of the single digits. Power Diablo just inadvertently revealed. They were the strongest fighters in the Empire, handpicked by Emperor Ludora, and the Emperor must have been the one who lent them their ultimate powers. Diablo described them as borrowed, not acquired through personal effort, and that was exactly why they didn't work on him. If you didn't have insight into the essence of power, and how to make it your own, then all the strength in the world was meaningless. It was as true for Caligulio as it was for the dead single digits. As Diablo put it, he was fighting too soon, a reality he couldn't deny no matter how much he wanted to. Ah! There was no winning this. He knew it now. But even so, he'd still try with everything he had. He had to retaliate at the very least, or else all this was for naught. He had to deny that at all costs, and so he challenged Diablo to a truly reckless battle. But by now, it barely even counted as a fight. For Diablo, who had correctly assessed Caligulio's current abilities, it was little more than a procedure. Even the god-class armor and all its mighty force couldn't be fully utilized by Caligulio as he stood now. The armor had accepted him, but they still weren't at a heart-to-heart level of communication yet. God-class gear had a will of its own, and there simply wasn't enough time to build a relationship and have his armor truly recognize him as its true master. A tool only had meaning if you could use it well. There was nothing sadder than a tool without a user who could bring out its full potential. So Caligulio, the last surviving member of the Imperial invaders, was defeated, unable to even make Diablo fight him seriously, and with that, his soul was reaped.
That's the end of chapter 4.
Well,
rest
in pepperonis.
Ruh-roh. All right.
Yep.
Epilogue. The deeds of a demon lord.
A demon lord.
All right, now check this out, guys. Caligulio awoke.
I had the strangest dream.
No. He literally died, and now he woke the fuck back up. All right? Caligulio.
Can I, real quick, can I just imagine that? I just imagine that last, like, is anyone else getting, like, Vegeta, like, screaming he's a Super Saiyan while he fights Frieza vibes in that whole deal?
We have about 20 minutes left. We got to get through this.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I was just wanting to put that up.
Here we go. Caligulio awoke to a warmth gently enveloping him. Where am I? He had trouble remembering what he was doing before he came here. Panicking, he looked around only to find himself resting in a somewhat large chamber. Joining him was a girl with bluish silver hair, maybe 12 or 13 years old, and working on something with an angelic smile. Gazing at her from the side, he saw her holding her hand out above someone who was lying on their back. A dazzling light shot from her palm, pouring down upon the line of familiar-looking people on the ground. Is that Krishna? No, Krishna was killed before my very eyes, wasn't he? The haze instantly dissipated from his mind, and all his memories came back. They were at war. invading the land of monsters. Caligulio hurriedly shot up, attempting to shout something, but then he lost the ability to speak. Amazingly, the dead Krishna gently opened his eyes and looked right at him. Just like Caligulio, Krishna seemed very confused about where he was. His eyes followed the silver-haired girl around, unable to parse what was happening. She kept up her mystery work, apparently not noticing they were awake. Bernie and Jiwoo were lying in front of her now, and next to them were Caligulio's staff officers and aides. What's going on? They were all killed too. In his clouded mind, Caligulio tried his best to calmly analyze the facts presented to him, but there was just no comprehending this. They were all dead. He was sure of that. Their chests weren't heaving up and down. They couldn't have been breathing. But then that girl had put her hand over them. They magically came back to life, one after another. There were a dozen or so Imperial officers gathered in this room, and before long, she finished treating them all. Once she did, the girl gave a little satisfied nod and turned toward Caligulio. Hey, you awake? How you feeling? Do you remember your name? The voice was so casually unconcerned, but Caligulio didn't mind. Her charming looks were one reason, but the sheer presence she projected told Caligulio that any resistance was verboten. Still, he could not give her a reply. Neither could anyone else. They all kept their mouths shut, completely lost to what was transpiring. Even the single digits, Bernie and Jiwoo, were listlessly staring into space. Now the girl sensed that something was amiss with Caligulio. Oh, did I mess something up? She asked, looking troubled. I'm pretty sure the spell went off without a hitch. From that, Caligulio realized they had all been subjected to some kind of magic. But what type? No, it can't be. This is ridiculous, completely impossible, but his body felt just fine. Wait, there was one thing off. The power that once flowed in him, practically bursting at the seams after he was awakened, was completely gone. All he could comprehend was that something awful was happening. I'm sorry, aren't we dead? That gingerly asked question must have helped the rest of the group clear their minds of any cobwebs. The light returned to their eyes as they sensed just how abnormal this situation was. They had all been murdered by a demon who called himself Diablo. That much was certain. The demon had no reason at all to keep them alive either. That's why Caligulio was wondering why he was breathing right now. Oh, you remember now. Can you tell me what your name is? Yes, it's Caligulio. Then a possibility flashed through his mind. Perhaps this girl might have saved Caligulio and his staff from that life or death situation. Was that even possible? Rescue from that hellhole was all but inconceivable. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. That demon was beyond powerful, ripping Caligulio up like a paper doll after he acquired that ultimate force, to say nothing of the single digits over there. Nobody could beat a demon like that. Nobody, except for the heroes he had heard rumors about. Did you save all of us, perhaps? What happened to that evil demon? He finally dared to ask it. Then, you'd best watch your tone around Sir Rimuru. The booming voice was familiar. It was exactly like the one that belonged to that blood-curdling demon. But an even more pressing issue was how he just mentioned Rimuru. The name of the demon lord Caligulio had set as their primary objective. Now, Diablo revealed himself to them all. A paroxysm of fear made Caligulio tremble, but the girl stopped the demon. I think some of you might have the wrong idea about everything, so let me explain. Yes, you are all dead. All the troops you led are dead too, and I sincerely doubt there are any survivors, so it's not like I saved you guys or whatever. I did bring you back to life, though. Truly an impressive, unheard of spell. I won't ask you to thank him for it, but you should at least be awed by Sir Rimuru's sheer greatness. Huh? Caligulio could do little more than grunt at his incomprehensible explanation, but nobody was laughing at him. Can you quit the act, Diablo? My apologies. I simply want to spread the word about your magnificence to these poor, ignorant masses.
Of course you do.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I don't need you to. Nobody in the room had the energy to interrupt this little act, but after a while, the girl smiled at Caligulio. Anyways, looks like your memory is fine. Glad that whole ritual ended up working out. Okay, let's start from the top. I'm Rimuru, the Demon Lord Rimuru. I'm kind of the king around here. Nice to meet you. Caligulio froze. So did all the other recently resurrected. As his brain parsed the words and their meaning slowly dawned on him, his eyes opened fully, staring straight at the girl in front of him. This little girl was Rimuru? The enemy Caligulio and his fellows saw as an obstacle who must be eliminated? Part of the octogram? That Rimuru? And judging by the context, Rimuru appeared to be the one who brought everyone back to life. This was Rimuru himself, smiling adorably, looking nothing like the sketches that were circulating. But there was one other problem. If I could ask you something. What is it? Caligulio, despite his trepidation, soldiered on. So you brought us all back to life? Yep, that's right. How could you? Well, the procedure's kind of hard to explain, but your souls are... No, don't mean that. I mean, how could you revive us even though we're your sworn enemy? Oh, is that what you meant? The girl, the Demon Lord Rimuru, looked a tad relieved. It's simple, she blurted out. The war's still on, but you've all fallen into my hands. You're my pawns now. And that's why she brought them back to life? Caligulio stared blankly at her, unable to grasp her meaning. The Demon Lord Rimuru revived them. Who? Us? Astonishment, confusion, and fear filled his mind. The same was true for all the others who were recently revived in the chamber, and it would take quite a while before the dust settled.
I mean,
I can just imagine.
Like that too.
I can just imagine a couple of them that have been fighting this whole time. Like a couple of the people under Rimuru were like, "All my hard work gone."
No. Could you imagine Pereira? It's like, but I killed them all so well.
Yeah,
I'd be
now
a little
they're going
miffed
to
too.
serve you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be extremely miffed.
I left the confused.
Dude, I fought really hard to get that kill.
I spent half of this episode's budget on my attack.
Yeah, could you imagine if you were playing like Call of Duty, whatever? You got most of the kill streaks.
The epilogue happens.
Rimuru just undoes all that.
I like the epilogue happens, and it's just like this whole book wasted.
Yeah, the kill count at the trash. The war count, the war body count at the end of this, 0.
All right.
No one dies. This is Dragon Ball now.
They just get really big boo-boos.
I left the confused Caligulio and his gang in their room, full of all the really important folks from his army, the supreme officers who led the Imperial invasion. Like I told him, I brought them back to life so I could use them as pawns. And yes, it was Raphael that offered up the idea. Of course it came from me.
You gotta get some lines from her and somehow.
Well, the shitty part is now my throat's kind of scratchy and I've got hiccups. So, of course, when it's my turn to read. Raising the dead. Ever since Shion's death, Raphael had been busy analyzing the structure of souls. Now it seemed like it was well on its way to figuring out almost all the principles. Wow, really? I'm gonna keep going here and hiccuping all through the night? No, fuck that.
Oh boy.
I'm clearly not capable of doing this right now. Shim, take over.
Okay. Whether it belongs to a human being or a monster, all souls have a set quality and quantity. It is composed of matter known as data particles, and through managing and applying certain forces to them, it's possible to control life and death to some extent. The souls of plants and animals house only a very tiny amount of energy. Human souls, meanwhile, have tons and tons. We've already confirmed that a certain amount is given to everyone equally, and the ability to fully harness that soul energy leads to the manifestation of soul powers, or what we call special skills. This data engraved in your soul since birth is a source of those powers. So, is the data written directly onto this energy? Not exactly. First, there's the ego, a set of amorphous wavelengths within the soul, and the group of data particles that surrounds it. This is known as the heart. That's where all the data is stored. The crystallized energy that covers his heart is what we call the soul. Our pseudosouls were developed as a receptacle for the project of this very heart. Hearts housed within pseudosouls like this have no energy of their own, but they do have egos. Without the power in one's soul, the owner of the soul cannot use any skills, but they can take action with their egos. So the way I revived Caligulio and his friends was by using pseudosouls to substitute for their real ones. Basically, I took their souls, plucked the hearts out of them, and transplanted them into pseudosouls, along with the bare minimum amount of energy necessary to keep them going. Ellipses.
Mm-hmm.
There was some concern about the success rate for this operation, but it looked like everything worked, which I was glad about, but it wasn't without its problems.
So,
First off, oh, sorry, go ahead.
do you get what he's actually explaining right now?
Yeah, he's basically saying like the ego is
He
like
pulled all the power out
Yeah.
of their
Their personality.
souls, put their personality inside pseudo souls. So the reason Caligulio woke up and felt weak is because all his power is still in his soul.
yeah,
Which is
inside
he's
the-
not a part of
other thing.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he drank it.
So
He gave him the bare minimum.
So basically,
Mhm.
Rimuru still has all their powerful souls.
hmm But they're still alive.
But,
But
yeah, they're alive.
Yeah.
Just through
Your
the use of
punishment is that you'll be
pseudo-souls.
reset to level 1.
Oh, no,
Kinda.
No,
well,
0.
yeah, I get.
They are as strong as your average farmer.
Which is exactly what we
Well,
need to make you
or
our
they're
with
alive.
the power of your average lizard.
But they're alive.
Yeah, they are alive.
That's great.
My pet gecko could kick your ass. Dwell on that.
Yeah,
I don't
First
know, man.
off-
the lizard could be a Komodo dragon.
it could be.
Yeah.
That's at least
No.
like a F rank monster.
It's a gecko. It's a
Mm.
little gecko
Like-
you put in a box.
Z rank right now.
Z rank. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Continue.
First, yeah, all good. First off, it weakens you a lot, which, yeah, of course it does. I took all their soul energy out. I've taken their souls, and there's no reason for me to give them back, and I don't see how they have any right to complain about it. Well,
No, they
So
really
thanks-
don't. Yeah.
You talk
Yeah.
shit, you got hit. This is your punishment.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So thanks to that,
Congratulations, you get to live. You don't get your power back.
yeah, that's pretty.
You gotta work your way
it's-
back
they're
up.
alive.
Yeah.
So thanks to that, they're no longer able to invoke any skills. Even if skill data was written into their hearts, they can't use it all without enough soul energy. From now until the natural end of their lives, they got no hope of learning or using a single skill. It'll also affect their magic casting abilities, but that at least is something they ought to be able to improve with practice. Once they get the hang of it to some extent, they'll be able to tap into magic without using any soul power. Magic is a skill, but it's also an art, and that means it's possible to invoke it with the magic skills in the air instead of those in your body. So arts are still available to them as long as they train themselves enough to earn them. Unless they rely on their skills for everything in their lives, I think they'll bounce back just fine. So, yeah, they can get super strong again if they want to, but the quality of the energy involved isn't what it once was. So they're going to hit limits sooner or later. Bear in mind, I only developed the pseudo soul as a toy to help us play around in the labyrinth a little. I don't want anyone to start expecting miracles from it. Still, it worked well enough this time. I didn't revive them for their own sakes, but rather to prevent any hateful rumors about us from circulating. Whether you'd call them rumors is debatable, I guess, but regardless. I mean, if they attack us for their own selfish reasons and die as a result, that's their own fault and nobody else's. I don't have any obligation at all to resurrect them, but again, I don't want to give myself a bad rap in the world. Or around the world. It'll also save me from being hated by the average Imperial citizen any more than necessary. Good thing Raphael's experiment worked, though. And since they're all back to life and everything, I'm going to have all these fancy higher-ups take responsibility for everything they did. They're under Zoe's supervision right now. In fact, also, I should note that despite being alive again, it's still on a temporary basis at best. I'm willing to grant them a certain degree of freedom, but if anything comes up, we can trace them. No sweat. They'll never be able to escape us.
God.
So enough about them for now.
They literally
Okay.
Rimuru invented Soul GPS.
Yeah, just we know where
So
you are. We know where
basically-
you sleep. Yep.
Basically, the alternative that was presented to them was like, you're going to be slaves. You could keep your
Wow.
power and your dignity, or you cannot. The choice is ultimately yours, but we're not going to tell you that part.
All right, guys. Well, I don't think
So-
we're getting done with this in 2 minutes, so we're going
No.
overtime. But no more
Oh, okay.
interruptions. Let the man
Okay.
read.
So, enough about them for now. I'm trying to get my work done as quickly as I can. Caligula and the others were the test subjects to see if this procedure worked, and it did. Now it's time to scale it up. Before me lay the corpses of approximately 700,000 Imperial soldiers. We were inside the labyrinth in Adelman's Floor 70 domain just in case something funny happened. I collected as many bodies from the battle as I could, going out in the field and teleporting them all down here. Gobta, Geld, Gabiru, and the Sword Floor Guardians joined me in the effort. The corpses laid out here were all the ones who could still be revived. The Imperial forces who deployed in front of Dorgan's East Gate were still there. That standoff remained ongoing. The 940,000 who invaded the Forest of Jura were all killed in battle except for Misha, Lucius, and Raymond. Of these, over 240,000 were sadly unsalvageable. One reason why resurrection magic is said to be impossible is because you can't recreate souls from thin air. But thanks to Testarossa and the other demons, we had these souls in safekeeping. As long as we had their bodies handy, we could resurrect them, but, well, not all of them had bodies left. Ultima's nuclear flame kind of vaporized a lot of them. Testarossa's death streak scrambled the DNA of a bunch of soldiers, or a bunch of others, and Carrera's gravity collapse turned a whole slew of people into piles of ash. Oh.
I thought
And
Same
even
to
if we
most
had a
people, but not
body,
everyone.
yeah. And even if we had a body, sometimes it still wasn't possible. For one, if someone died because of sheer terror, the ego, the most important part of the body, was trashed and gone, or long gone, so we couldn't do anything for them. Kansas, killed by Kamara, was one example. I guess the fear literally broke his heart at the edge of death, so there was no data particles left in his soul. Not even Raphael could restore these, sadly. So there was nothing I could do for the guy. But that was fine. I wasn't planning on reviving the likes of Kansas anyway. So as I said, 240,000 soldiers of the Empire were permanently dead. But hey, it was going to be all of them originally, so they ought to really count their blessings. I felt sorry for those who couldn't make it back, but sometimes that was just the way the cookie crumbled. I wasn't an omnipotent god, you know. I couldn't create something out of nothing. And really, I don't regret a thing about this. I do think that 3 demonesses went way too far for sure, but this is war. If we let up too much and got burned because of it, it'd be so incredibly stupid. My people are the only thing that really matter to me, and if I have to weigh them against strangers I know nothing about, then I won't hesitate to protect my people first. I'm not going to go around like some saint saying we should show compassion to invading enemies. If I was that much of a namby-pamby dolt, I'd be in no position to step up when we really did take damage. That's why I shouldn't be concerned about the ones we can't bring back to life. We shouldn't, but still, I've got this indescribable sense of sorrow for them. I guess I'm still retaining my values from living in a nation as war-free as Japan all the time. It's not regret, for sure, and I don't think what I did was wrong, but it's still not something I'm used to. I just can't help but think it'd be nicer if we all just live happily and peacefully without anyone having to die. But still, I'm never going to show mercy to anyone who invades my domain. In fact, I'll make it a point to terrorize them to the hilt. I suppose it'd be hypocritical to me to pray for those souls, but so instead of the dead, let me say a silent prayer for those who were able to bring back to life instead. Sacred birthday, deploy. Caligulio and his staff, fresh out of their recuperation room, looked shocked at the scene before them. At this rate, I wasn't sure they were going to get any sleep. Not my problem, but anyway, let's get this over with. All the bodies have copied pseudo-souls installed in them, or all the bodies have copied pseudo-souls installed in them. This is kind of an emergency, so I might as well make the most of my copies. It's the only quick way to secure enough pseudo-souls for them all. The bodies were now restored and in clean, decent condition, thanks to Adelman and his squad of advanced holy magic casters. They worked tirelessly for the sake of these enemy soldiers, and I was incredibly grateful to them. Of course, Adelman doesn't need to sleep anyway, so I think he put in the biggest effort of all. Honestly, I think it tired him out more than fighting in the battle. He really deserves some credit for that. So all these clean bodies had pseudo-souls installed in them. I'm making it sound like a snap, but it goes without saying that it was only possible thanks to Raphael's staggering computational power. Next, I performed the secret art of implantation, a sort of cousin of the secret art of revival. I wasn't regenerating a soul here, so I didn't require nearly as much energy, but identifying every single individual body took a tremendous amount of computation. Raphael, bless you, once again handled this. I was doing essentially nothing, just standing here really, meditating and leaving everything to that guy. The way he checked generic information on the bodies against our soul records to instantly identify people was so amazing. I really should start calling it Professor Raphael. It was just so bizarrely complex, something I could never possibly imitate. But to Caligula and the others watching from the sidelines, it must have looked like I was doing everything myself. At some point, they started kowtowing to me, like they were worshiping me or something. You know that makes me feel super uncomfortable, right? I wish they'd stop doing it. You so got the wrong idea about me, but until the sacred birthday was over, I couldn't stop to complain. So over the course of a single day and night, the secret art did its stuff while I awkwardly squirmed under all the attention. The result was a successful resurrection of around 700,000 soldiers. Floor 70 was lined with rows and rows of simple tents full of food for the revived soldiers. Even the most confused ones after the resurrections were now calm, and everyone was quietly concentrating on their meals, as if they were digesting their very lives. They were enjoying a stew-like entree, basically a bunch of veggies and meat cooked in a large pot, and it was hot and hearty. As the chaos subsided and the soldiers came to accept their new reality, the soup left an impression on them that was difficult to put into words. Caligula was among the defeated soldiers, now feeling much less tense. He hadn't even noticed his hunger until then. But as he basked in the feeling of the moment, he slowly realized over and over again that the demon Lord Rimuru killed him, and everybody knew in the army. Now, however, they were alive, although Rimuru called it a temporary life. Don't worry, you'll be able to live out a perfectly average lifespan. You can fall in love, form a family, have children, whatever. But just remember, we put some restrictions on all of you to keep you from doing anything bad to us. The curse on your soul will ensure that you're never able to act against us again. I hope we're all clear on that. That was part of the speech he gave once everyone calmed down, but Caligula was sure that curse wasn't necessary at all. Who would even dare to repeat such foolish behavior a second time? The disaster with Eldora several centuries ago left a deeply instilled sense of fear in all who witnessed it. But even if the dragon leveled the city and killed everyone in it, such a disaster could easily be replicated by human hands too. Maybe that was why, despite this palpable fear, nobody thought it could ever be conquered by some other greater fear. Or maybe if there were more initial survivors, that fundamental sense of fear could have been spread more, turning into more of an inviolable thing. But that would be the end of it. This time, though, there was no mistaking matters. I was once dead, but now I've been brought back to life by the hands of an ungodly demon lord. Bearing witness to such a ridiculous miracle, not a single person among them would ever dare to defy him. I was far too foolish. It was a reminder that we all had gotten too big for our own good. Or was that really even a demon lord in the first place? Caligula's doubts went that far. Krishna, meanwhile, was already worshipping Rimuru like a god only one night post-revival. Even now, he was watching him go around, eyes rapt. It was sheer idolatry. Of course, Caligula was the first to worship him, so he wasn't one to talk. This temporary life the demon lord spoke of turned out not to be a problem either. Yes, they had lost nearly all ability to fight, but not enough to make life too difficult. They could still defeat monsters, at least up to a certain level. Maybe their powers were now insignificant to someone like the demon lord Rimuru, but to Caligula and his companions, a few of them still had strength that ranked close to an A. They couldn't use skills, and magic was proving to be tricky for them, but they still had their well-honed bodies. Plus, they'd be allowed to live out their natural lifespan until they became old and decrepit. That, Caligula thought, was good enough, and that thought was shared by all 700,000 of his comrades present. With all that gratitude and awe going around, there was no way anyone would dare rebel against the demon lord Rimuru. It was a complete, utter, heartfelt defeat. Everyone wanted the fighting to just stop already. The Empire's invasion was now over, and it ended in complete failure.
And guys, that is how this motherfucker just converted another 700,000 assholes to Rimuruism.
Oh boy. So he just doubled his numbers.
Oh god,
it's a lot better
more.
fate than I thought that they would have.
They literally just added 700,000 more members of Rimuruism. Yep.
That's a lot of people.
Guys, that's volume 13. We're finally done.
Hooray.
We are free. Well,
It's a thick book. Well, no, we're not free.
It was a thick boy book.
Damn it!
Complete it though.
Let me have this moment.
No, you may never have it. You may never.
No.
I mean,
Yes.
it's in the 300s, but nowhere near as high in the 300s. We are... Hang on. Gotta undo this. Okay, cool. Not tied around to everything, thank God. Alright, so we're in the very early 300s. 326 is the full amount of the pages on the next volume. So nowhere near as bad as it could have been, but you know, still a little hefty, but yeah, it's only this thick. And on the cover of this one, we finally get to see Veldanava.
Oh,
So-
I thought that was just
That's the
Rimuru.
next
I was
one.
like,
well,
Rimuru,
no,
when you get saw.
Rimuru's like on her back, but yeah, that's
Yeah, I see it, but I was like, oh,
that's
damn,
Veldanava, aka the Marshal, aka the fire dragon, the true flame dragon, the true flame dragon, and Veldora's older sister. We've already met his other older sister, who is with Guy right now, out in that frozen tundra, and just her power alone has frozen everything over. So, yeah. You're really gonna like. I think you're really gonna like Veldanava, but here is the back book tease, and then we'll go quickly over this volume and talk quickly about our thoughts about it and what our favorite moments were. Here we go. Having easily thwarted the Eastern Empire's invasion, Rimuru wishes to end the conflict once and for all, and therefore heads to the Imperial capital to take out the source. Meanwhile, Yuki has worked his way up the Empire's hierarchy with the intention of staging a coup and usurping the throne. It doesn't take long for Rimuru to learn the Empire's true power is on a whole different level compared to what he's seen so far, and it turns out he isn't the only ruler with a dragon at his side. So there we go. That is...
So now things are more even.
Well, here's the thing. He sent an army of... Ludora sent an army of 1 million because if they all died, it wouldn't matter. He wouldn't care.
Which is like, damn.
Yeah. He's like,
Holy shit.
You killed all these ants I was raising and hoping that they would evolve into something higher than an ant. Cool.
Well.
And now you brought them back as just a bunch of lesser ants.
Yeah.
I mean, they're loyal
Or
to me. I
gnats.
could give them all their power back. No.
No.
I don't think he can.
Actually, at the point in time that he goes and visits Ludora, he can't give the power back.
Oh, okay.
Things have been done with said power. That's all I'll say.
That's right.
Things have been done with said power, and that's all I'm going to say. You'll have to come by next week as we continue with Volume 14 on the next one. So what'd you guys think of 13? Actually, let's start with this. What were your favorite moments, your standout moments? Think about a favorite moment that you had from this volume. And I know there were a lot of them in the second half because that's when the war really kicked off. But I think also in this volume was this volume was just straight out the war. So we had like the beginning of the fight with the Magitanks and the airships, and then we got into the dungeon and all that craziness that was going on, and then finally we had the outside area where they just tore crap up, man. They just tore shit up. So
massive
think about your favorite moment, and then I want to know who your MVP of this war, of this battle, this war, whatever. It was a very short war. It lasted like a week, and it was completely a one-sided ass kicking.
Okay, are we thinking about the whole book or just what we read today?
The whole book.
Whole book?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's so much worse when I say it like that.
It's a whole
All right,
book.
so I know you're pondering, but we got to get this over with. Moon.
Favorite moment. I'm gonna cop out and just kind of say it's multiple moments and multiple characters, but it is specific.
No,
My favorite moments. Hold on. My favorite moments are when every individual general suddenly realized how fucked they were.
Yeah.
They just hit that moment of, oh, we had no idea what was happening.
All right, who is in your mind the MVP of this war?
The MVPs would had to have been
No,
the
only one. You only get one.
So mean.
Yeah. You don't get to say MVPs.
Yeah.
There's only one. I said, who's the MVP? You got to pick one.
Zegian.
There you go. All right.
Mountain of Bodies. Just
Son of a
sitting there
bitch took my pick.
No, y'all can have the same pick. It's okay.
No, but that's too easy.
No, okay.
If I was going to choose multiple, it would have been all of the demons, like Diablo,
Yeah.
Carrera, all of them. Just for the sheer amount of bullshit they do.
All right, next.
true.
Keep in mind that all those demons have fought against Zegian and they still haven't won. The only one who's actually beaten Zegian out of the demons is Diablo. He's the only one. The other three, and he had them fight him. He had them fight Zegian 3-on-1, and Zegian still won. That's how crazy this is.
What a fucking beast!
Yes.
He's
All right, Shim. Best moment from this volume. Also, everybody in chat, the MVP. All right, everybody in chat, think about who your MVP is. Not VIP, MVP. Difference.
Yeah.
Think about who your MVP is, and think about what is the moment out of this volume that you think was the best moment.
Yeah. I think my favorite moments. I mean, I will say there's a lot of them. I really enjoyed some of the sheer imagery that they had for like the really strong attacks.
But you gotta pick
like on both
one.
the enemy and the ally side. You know what I mean? But it's like holy shit.
But you gotta pick.
You know,
one.
like I know, but I think my favorite moment was. I mean, my favorite moment is Zegian like being on top of the bodies and being like, "Come," you know, because I'm a big sucker for like hard warrior code, but like this guy is not to be fucked with. I really like characters like that. Like he didn't just pwn them all at
character
like
you're
all
gonna
at
like,
once,
not
you know,
mine.
like just mercilessly killing. He's like,
and he's
like, no,
sitting on
I want
the
to
bodies,
fight you.
He's
Yeah.
hovering above them, meditating.
Oh, that's right. He's meditating over them, but still, it was just like
He's not touching the
I love
bodies.
warrior
He's
code
just
enemies.
hovering. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just But that's really cool. It's like, oh, dude, he's so cool.
And who is
I love him.
Who is your MVP?
MVP for me is Diablo, just because it's like
Son of a bitch,
he made a guy, but he made a guy like experience so much tragedy. He exploded into like god armor, and even
he
then,
became a
it wasn't
Super
enough.
Saiyan.
He basically did, and then basically went, oh, "That's cute," and then just bodied him immediately.
Super Saiyan if Frieza immediately just bitch slapped Goku into nothing.
Yeah, and then he just died.
Yeah.
What if
That's how
Vegeta
like
became
jarring
Super
it was.
Saiyan?
It's like, well, that would be obvious,
I mean,
Vegeta getting slapped.
Fair, Vegeta
destroyed.
becoming Super Saiyan on the Namek arc, I don't know how much it would have helped. But I mean, well, Vegeta's probably more in control of himself than Goku was. But
no, his ego would have made up for that.
I'm still wondering if Frieza could have turned things around and made Vegeta made Vegeta like a bitch twice.
I think at full power, maybe when he went full power.
But I don't think
pretty freaking strong
Frieza
too.
would not have given him the chance to power up to 100% though.
No,
Vegeta.
Bastard,
Vegeta would not have given him the chance.
Yeah. Anyhow.
No. But yeah, I think my MVP is Diablo because he technically ended that. Like that was the last word he had that ended everything, and it was just kind of like, lol, you're funny. As like, sorry, go ahead.
Sonic,
okay.
your turn.
Mm-hmm.
You two assholes picked my top MVP, but I think
You're
I just
welcome.
figured out another
You can have
one.
the same one. It's okay.
No, that's too easy. I'm choosing to be difficult.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, but I figured out another one, and this is actually from early in the war.
Well, here's your what's your favorite moment? Because that's supposed to be the first one.
My favorite moment?
Yeah.
Favorite moment. You know what? My favorite moment, I think, is when we had what was the general who actually walked through the labyrinth a little bit and actually beat the Wasp Queen. I think that fight.
Minutes.
That
was minutes. Mm-hmm.
Minutes.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this because it's the only time in this book that made me the only character in this whole chapter that made me think, oh shit, they might actually struggle here. There might be a sliver, like a needle in a haystack's worth of potential victory for the Empire.
Once they were summoned to Zegian, that disappeared immediately.
Yeah, we know Zegian's like, okay, how's this gonna go against Zegian? But still, for a moment, when
minutes.
if you forget about Zegian for a minute, which to be fair, it does make you do.
Mm-hmm.
You just think about this fight, like, oh, this is ooh, I actually like am kind of engaged here for the moment. I think this is
Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
And then of course you get to Zedgy and whatever.
Yep.
But
It's-
I think the MVP.
Yes.
It's actually going to go from early on in the war.
Okay.
It's not Testarossa. What was the? I think it was the one that acted like I think Ultima.
Yeah.
Ultima, the little
Mhm.
girl one,
Yeah.
who basically just walked up to the enemy general and it's like, oh, this is a kind of a cool little tank battalion you got here.
Oh no!
Let
not
me just
tank
kind of-
battalion.
Oh.
Ultimate
Oh,
took
air
out the
battalion, right.
flagship, or the airships.
The airship battalion.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is a cool air battalion you got here. Oh, it'd be a shame. Oh, it'd be a shame if someone just destroyed all of
It'd
it.
be a shame if you talked back to me and I had to put you all on the ground.
She's acting like a sweet little girl, and then she's just tearing through everything
Nice.
with
Nice.
a smile, like innocent, cute little smile, like Joker.
my
If he was a
favorite-
demon.
My favorite moment is literally what set off the war.
Mm.
When the stupid guy that was in charge of the tank battalion got so mad at
Testarossa.
Testarossa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Got so mad at Testarossa that he literally accidentaled a war.
Oops! Did I just accidentally a war?
Oh, I'm
Hmm.
sorry. He activated his own. He seems to have activated his self-destruct sequence.
Ah, damn shame. Seems like you activated your own self-destruct.
Now, on to the next thing. You're all wrong. The true MVP of this whole book was Raphael.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, that's fair.
whatever!
Yeah.
Get off your high
What
horse.
do you mean, whatever?
No, I'm not even speaking as like, dude. Keep in mind, you talk all this shit, but know that I'm not going to be
I mean,
voicing
you're
Raphael.
right, but still, that's kind of a.
I'm not going to be voicing Raphael, so it's not my character.
No, dude. Without Raphael, none of this would be possible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Raphael
but
did
still.
We are
way too
underestimating
much.
its usefulness.
Raphael is so goddamn right.
Extremely underestimated. They are
I love
defabricating.
Spider. I love Spider. I was right.
But I mean, it's like they're defabricating the formula to keep people alive. At this point,
put them,
he'd figure out immortality.
Also-
he's like, "Oh yeah, I know how life and death works."
Also, at the
No big
same
deal.
time,
or at least resurrection.
says
Yeah,
that
dude.
Gabiru being mistaken for Veldora and thinking he was contained when he was testing, when he
I
was
was
literally
thinking
just
that
testing
too.
for a moment, as it shows how mistaken the army was about everything,
They're-
and Diablo for being the MVP from.
This is the Alaskan bullworm episode of SpongeBob but on a much bigger, more dire level.
Oh yes.
Oh, so that's the worm, and that's the
That's
tongue.
the worm.
But it's on a much bigger scale.
Yeah,
Sandy, you just were tied up its tongue.
This,
What?
you
Yeah.
know what that reminds me of? Gears of War 2.
Oh, I'm assuming it's like that, where it's like, oh, the big
They are
bad that we were
inside.
fighting.
They were
No.
literally got swallowed by a giant worm and had to cut their way out with their little chainsaw lances. And that thing had multiple hearts that you had to kill. And every time you destroyed one of the arteries around the hearts, the place started flooding with blood. It was just fucking
Hooray.
phenomenal. What a great concept for a game level. Most entertaining pronunciation I hear is Well, yeah, guys, that is it. That is it for volume 13. We'll see you next week with 14. And
Oh,
again-
you know what? You know what?
Yep,
I figured out another
Yes.
really fun moment.
that's nice.
The moment
We're
where
not
the
doing it. No.
the
no.
Beast
We
of
have
Lions
to.
was servicing the army.
No! We're literally trying to end the show. It's
All right.
late. We went
leave.
over.
I need food and sleep.
Yes.
That's fair.
So
I
there
do
we
this.
go. Guys, thank you so much
I
for
had to
coming
go
by.
outside.
We will see you again next week for volume 14. And of course, this Sunday with Anime Church. But once again, thank you. We appreciate it. We always welcome you to come and hang out with us on these silly little night really light novel readings. Man, I really need to go to bed.
Night. Look, we'll give you that one.
Yeah, I really need to go to sleep. But guys, don't forget that we will be catching up pretty dang soon with Slime. We're only like a few volumes away, and the only reason this one took so long to get through was because we were on a 2-month break. Otherwise,
and we were fucking around a little bit.
And we were
still,
no, but
We
that's
fucked around
not
and
too
found
bad.
out.
fucking around is kind
too
of
bad,
what we
but-
normally do, so I'm not counting that one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
we
right.
we
But the
lost 2
hiatus,
months
definitely.
there. The hiatus, we'd probably be on volume 15, starting up or partway through volume
Probably.
15 right now.
Probably.
And there's
yeah.
only 17 volumes released so far. Like 17 is what's coming up in December.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we're
Do
catching
you
up.
think we can get
We're
through the
catching
next
up pretty quick.
book before the end of the year?
yeah, it's very
Wow.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can make
So,
it that way, or I can try and make it
We
that
got
way.
14, 15, and 16 right now. 17 comes out next month. We have 4 books left until we're caught up. And it's probably
Ouch.
going to be about 3 to 6 months before the next volume shows up. So we will catch up pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But once we do,
Anyway.
guys, once we get caught up and there's no new volume, we're moving to Mushoku Tensei. And we're going to start
I have to
reading that.
watch that show and see.
Oh, yeah, you should definitely watch it. But,
Definitely watch it. It's really good.
Yeah.
I've seen some clips on YouTube.
It's very good. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. That is it, though. Yes, we will be starting from the beginning. So all the Mushoku Tensei stuff will be happening at the beginning. Keep an eye on the Light Novel channel because I am uploading all of these. We're current up to today. So today's episode will be out sometime later this week on the Light Novel channel if you want to come back and rewatch these. That having been said, I'm Richie Roberts. I'm joined by Moonlight Sparks,
Hello.
Shim Shim Sharu,
Hello.
and
good.
Sonic. I don't know
go
your
fast.
full username anymore because I'm so used to just calling you
Wow.
Sonic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's Sonic Speed.
works.
17.
Sonic Speed. Okay,
can't
well,
believe
you know
that.
what? You know what?
Can't believe you.
Literally,
Don't have a full name.
Shim's full username is not something that I use either. So
I know your full name, Richie Roberts. And no, it's not just
can't
because
say-
it's your Discord handle. No,
You can't
you don't know my full handle. So, meh.
clearly you don't. Clearly
I
you
don't
don't
know
know
what that
my name because Roberts isn't actually my last name.
Yeah,
I
was
know
gonna say,
your
you probably
full
shouldn't say
Discord
full
handle.
names
Well,
upon-
there you
on
go.
Discord.
I mean-
Full disclosure. It's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't even know my full Discord handle. Meh.
Well, I mean,
Whatever.
it requires an iota of care, and I'm just way too tired to have that right now. Yeah. So,
I'm hungry.
guys, thank you
It
so
is
much.
like what?
People want
Almost
food.
11 feet, yeah.
People want sleep. We're out of here. Good night, everybody.
See you
Bye-bye.
next
Bye,
week.
everyone. Thanks for coming. Love you.
That's what she said.